What is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
None of you seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
All right. What is it? Tuesday night already? I can't believe it. Must be the Tuesday night Radio Baloney Live. I am your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. We got who we got in here already? We got Rosie in the chat. We got Turtles. We got Spambot. We got Mickey. We got Trudeau Survivor. Man, that was hard to survive Trudeau. We got all the good people here. Good to see you guys. Now, as everybody knows, we're streaming on Rumble, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on X, we're streaming on Locals. And every time somebody likes the stream, obviously subscribing, all that as well, but every time somebody likes the stream, they get one free dose of good karma from Radio Baloney. It's Radio Baloney Good Karma. It's the best there is. But the first like, whatever platform you're on, and you can get this on all the platforms if you want, but you get multiple good karma. So the first one might be double good karma. It might be triple. It might be treble. It might be quadruple. It might be quintuple. It might even be 6 times as much once I figure out what the word for that is. So who's got it today? That's the question. Who's got it today? Turtle says, first like for Turtles. Good karma, sending it out to the world. Well, I was going to say it was a triple good karma, first like. But since you're sending that triple good karma out to the world, I'm going to double it up and send another good karma just for yourself because you got so much good karma from sending out your good karma to the world. It's a wonderful thing, people. Nature's greatest miracle. Second like for Spambot, so that would be a double good karma. Double good karma. Busy watching Radonculus. What? How can you watch both at the same time? That's impossible. Oh, well. Looks like we got Brian over at YouTube's in the chat. Good to see you. Good evening to you. Spambot says, playing the Bolsheviks drinking game there on that Radonculus. I don't know what that is. We'll have to find out. Spambot Father says, whenever the word is stated, a drink is taken. A drink is taken. Well, you need it with Bolshevism. He says, I could be 3 sheets to the wind before Richie gets here. That's okay. It's okay. People could do as they like. Mickey got third. So that is 1.5 good karmas for you. 1.5. Running, get a first like on the other channels as well. On YouTube or X or something, and you can get the extras. All right, everybody, get your good karma. Rosie, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. How you doing, Trudeau Survivor? Spambot's got a good buzz going on. All right. Let's see. Rosie says, I'm starting to realize we are locked in here with you. That's why I play that at the beginning, so people know. Let's see. Spambot says, X is ahead of Rumble yet again. Will they ever win? I don't know. Spambot's got the only like on Locals as usual. That's that's a triple. That's a triple right there. Triple. Let's see. Rosie says, keep tipping the cup and the delay will not only not bother you, but you will like it. You will learn to like it, is what she's saying. What was that song, that Robbie Robertson song? Something, you like it now, but you'll learn to love it later. What that was that? Somewhere Down the Crazy River. That was a great song, by the way. I can't play it because of copyright stuff. You know the deal. Let's see. Rosie's sending photographs of fungi around. Excellent. Turtle says, Cash is the man, Bondi not so much. Well, we're going to talk about both of those tonight. Yeah, we got some good stuff tonight. Spambot says, Rumble caught up. Good. Finally. All right. We got a lot of good stuff tonight, people. A lot of good stuff. a lot of, I mean, there's somber stuff. We're going to talk about Charlie Kirk, obviously. Let's go through the menu quickly before we get back to the chat and I do my spiel, and then we'll go through all these stories in detail. But let's first go. Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff from the Assassin and just a bunch of crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, the left is totally nuts, completely bonkers. We've got, yeah, we're gonna do this for a little while. I want to go over some of the stuff. I want to go over JD Vance on the Charlie Kirk show over the weekend. And we spent some time on that, I think, yesterday in the premium stream on Rumble. But I think we need to go over that again. This is going to be a big part of the show. So we are going to debunk all this nonsense that we keep hearing about. The right is actually, that's 76% of the political violence. That's 76% of the extremism. We are going to debunk this, and we're going to show you how it works, and we're going to go through this. Most of it's all just from the ADL, and I will show you how they manipulate, and we'll go through their heat map. Here's their heat map here, and I'll show you, well, you will find out how they manipulate everything. And and that'll be fun but frustrating, and everybody will be smarter afterwards. Kash Patel is, he kind of went ham. He kind of went hardcore. Hold on a second. What is going on with this? There we go. Can we just get this? There we go. We've got some clips of him, which are pretty awesome. He's just not messing around, and I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So we're going to go through all of this. The Pam Bondi stuff, yeah, we're going to get to that. Hold on. Something quickly I want to show you on the Epstein stuff. We've got the memes, which I am now every week I am clipping these and turning it into the meme review that is going to be on the new YouTube channel, Radio Baloney News. Of course, it goes on to just a regular Rumble channel. We've got some Canada stuff. Pierre Poilievre's back in Parliament again. This is all excellent. We're going to talk about this Bill C3, Amendment to the Citizenship Act, which seems to be an attempt to just jam even more people into Canada for some crazy reason. We've got Woke Canada we're going to talk about. We got Pam Bondi, who, like, I mean, I guess she can say she misspoke, but she got pretty messed up there, and it should not be confidence building for people. Anyway, we'll talk about that. CBC is getting sued by one of their anchors who has been blowing the whistle on CBC being totally biased, totally left-wing biased. And, all the diversity stuff is actually all kind of fake, actually. At least in terms of, this idea that they're looking for, diverse voices. No, they're not. They're looking for total and utter conformity to whatever Rosemary Barton believes. Far left extremism, we're going to get into this. Andy No drops the horrifying truth on what we're really up against when it comes to left-wing violence. He's been in the eye of the storm for a long time. He's been attacked personally by Antifa. It's worth listening to what he has to say. Canada crime, some more on that. That's just an ongoing thing. Just every week now we talk about crime in Canada after 10 years of being ruled by absolute imbecile lunatic Marxists. And that's what happens. We got some Pierre Poilievre going on, which I think we're all going to enjoy. He really does shine in Parliament. He's excellent there. Mark Carney, useless. We'll talk about that. What have we got here? Canadian media bias. They have just really shown themselves. They've really shown their hand with Charlie Kirk, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and they're just immediate narrative maintenance. They're immediate narrative repair. They saw their narrative fraying at the seams, and they had to get on top of it immediately and remind everybody, conservatives are scary. They're the scary ones. That's what everybody has to be worried about. It's conservatives, and what are they going to do? And they're so scary. Defund the CBC. Got to make a little song about that or something. And then we got the last one. We got some Bill Maher in here. This is just random stuff after all that crazy news, which can be a bit of a bummer sometimes. Not always. We try and have fun with it. But anyway, so to end it off, we usually have some kind of just interesting stuff. I love these videos of dudes who just go in the woods and like build like little houses and like dugout houses, or like build like a house up in a tree. I guess it's like, I think men love this because we're always thinking in the back of our minds, we're always thinking about the Roman Empire, and we're always thinking about things falling apart. So maybe I'll remember this video and I'll be able to live in a tree someday, safely up in a tree. Let's see. Anyway, there's lots of stuff mixed in here. Actually, don't know actually that much in this last one, but yeah, there's stuff in here, and so we should have a good time. Some of the stuff we've already seen, and I thought that I had deleted it. Let's refresh that. Yeah, anyway, crazy stuff. We'll go through all of that. It's going to be fun, and everybody will have a good time. And one day, tell their grandchildren about it. All right, let's get back to the chat. Then we'll dig into these stories. And we're going to dig into these stories hard. Turtle says, Cash is the man. Bondi, not so much. Yeah, she's just really... I mean, I don't know if she's saying she misspoke or whatever, but not good. Spambot Fodder says, great movie, Bone Tomahawk. You know, I saw something that just recently that was saying that was a great movie. I have not seen it. Something or somebody told me that was a really good movie. Says, my favorite quote from that movie, smart men don't get married. They don't get married and then divorced twice. Macross, how you doing? Good to see you. All right. Turtle says, the right is responsible for the violence, so what building got burned down? None. There were candlelight vigils. Nobody got killed. Nothing was burnt down. No city blocks were burnt down. Nothing got looted. Nobody was assaulted. Let's see. Rosie says, the smartest men stay married. Yeah, but what if your wife is awful, though? That's the thing. What if she's just awful? Too expensive to let her go? Well, that's true. And too hard to train the younger, blonder version. It's not so much about training. It's about ignoring. No, never mind. Let's see. It's about, yeah, whatever. I don't know what's going on. Nobody listened to me. I don't know anything. Spambot Fodder says, Pam Bondi is a train wreck. Yeah, she kind of is, isn't she? Which it saddens me. But yeah, she is a bit of a train wreck. Let's see. Turtles, women can do pull-ups or get fired. Thanks, Cash. Yeah, we're getting to it. Don't worry. We're going to get there. Macross says, far left extremists, it's called socialists and commies. Socialists and commies. Turtles learned about Antifa attacking Knowles, Michael Knowles, years ago. Demons paid by an NGO near you. They've attacked like everybody. Let's see. Let's see. Spambot says tree houses are dangerous. Well, I don't know. I mean, the apocalypse seems like it might be an all right thing. No escape during wildfires, Spambot says. Well, that's true. That's true. We could jump from it, I guess, but if it wasn't too far. Macross says that's why they're fun. Exactly. Macross says my treehouse would have a zip line. This is what I'm talking about. No fire gonna get me. If there's a forest fire, you're probably getting caught either way. Like in the apocalypse, right? If it's the apocalypse, And Trudeau Survivor makes an excellent point. That's why you keep a jetpack in the treehouse, obviously. Obviously. Hopefully we'll get those, like just regular consumer ones before the apocalypse. Turtle says, canceling they them energy. We'll bring it back one day when it's appropriate. Rosie saying her friend gave her a new hat today and it matches her car. That is wonderful. That is wonderful. All right. Let's see. Spambot says, one and done for me. We're talking about marriage and divorce here. No way in hell am I ever going to let another Western poisoned get her hooks in my investments. This is the problem now. That's, if you want to know what really has been killing Western civilization and killing the family, that's it. No fault divorce. And for any reason, you can just decide, I went out and guess what? There's cash and prizes. And there's an incentive built right into it. That's one of the worst things that ever happened to Western civilization. It never should have happened. All right. All right, let's just do it. Let's just get started. So let's get into this. So text message exchange between Tyler Robinson and his lover roommate. So that is the male transitioning to female. The left needs to apologize for claiming this POS was MAGA. Liberalism is a mental illness. They don't care. They have no principles. It's just about winning by any means necessary. They don't have any problem lying or believing lies. They prefer to believe the lies, right? Otherwise, if they start having to interrogate their own ideas, right, and their own beliefs, it causes an enormous amount of discomfort for them, which they don't like. They don't like any discomfort whatsoever. So they're happy to believe the lies. They want to believe the lies, and they want to create lies, and they just want to win. So I'm not going to read through all of this. You weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. This tends to lead me here to thinking they grabbed some crazy old dude, because that guy, the first guy they grabbed at the event, that crazy old guy who was saying shoot me and that sort of thing. There was speculation that maybe he was a distraction to let the shooter get away. Maybe they knew each other. They had planned. It sounds like from this, no, he didn't know him. He was just a crazy guy. But, I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. This is a confession. A lot of people are saying, not a lot of people. I've seen some posts online saying this just looks like it was written by the FBI. There's a confession and everything right in here. I don't see any reason why that would be so. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. An open shut case with this guy. Roommate, why? Why did I do it? Robinson says. Roommate says, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. I wonder if he'd ever actually seen a video, like an unedited video of Charlie Kirk. I wonder if he'd ever seen any of the videos I've shown you. Is it possible that he killed Charlie Kirk without actually knowing what he believed with any accuracy whatsoever? Robinson, I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. Robinson, you are all I worry about, love. Roommate, I am much more worried about you. Robinson, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. So this is open and shut. I mean, they've got the DNA evidence of him. They've got the photographs of him. It's pretty much an open and shut case. He confessed to his parents, his family, friends, all said that he turned very left wing. He was living with a, transitioning man in a relationship with, I mean, it's all just right there. There's nothing else. I mean, it should not be. I mean, none of it is surprising that this guy would have been radicalized, right? I mean, if he watches CNN or MSNBC or just watches TikTok, how would it be surprising he got radicalized? Now, I've been saying that I thought that it wasn't going to just end with Tyler Robinson. That I think that the FBI is going to want to go deep with this, and they're going to grab anybody who had anything to do with it whatsoever. Now, this roommate is cooperating, and I think probably because they said you're going to go to prison for a very long time unless you cooperate. But I think they're going to dig deep on this. Here, Armed Queers SLC is now under FBI investigation as an extended network related to Charlie's killer, Representative Anna Paulina Luna, who was awesome, by the way, and she looks great in an American flag bikini. The founder of the Armed Queers SLC is also an organizer for PSL, which is funded by Neville Singham and the Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party. Maybe do something about that. Maybe they really need to do something about that. Root out, I don't know, Chinese Communist Party influence in the United States. Might be a good idea. Sworn enemies of the United States. Why did Armed Queers SLC delete their Instagram after Charlie was murdered? Why is Neville Singham affiliated with radical extremist groups that may have ties to Charlie Kirk's assassin? Let's see, trying to destroy the United States and Western civilization, I guess. Let's see. Apparently they took these Queers SLC, took a trip to Cuba. So they're communists, right? They're communists. Lots of communists these days. A lot of people don't realize it still, even now, how many communists there really are. Let's see. End wokeness. What was this one? Sex offenders per million. Biological women, 3. Biological men, 395. Trans women, 1,916. I can't confirm that right now. Does seem to be a lot of it going on. Let me refresh this. Okay, hold on. Oh, let's go back. Okay, Utah County DA reads the full text message exchange between Charlie Kirk's assassin and his transgender boyfriend roommate after committing the murder. So we'll take a look here. And this is to confirm that, this is all real.
The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Roommate, you weren't the one who did it, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence.
So this is somebody who went to an event where Charlie Kirk was debating, could have debated, but said, no, I disagree with this person so much that what I've heard, he's probably, I'm assuming he never actually watched any full context videos of Charlie Kirk that would have, disavowed him of these ideas, but maybe not. I mean, we know that the modern left thinks that just anything, just believing in basic biology is hate. All right. He's talking about, a hate that can't be negotiated with. It just sounds to me like don't want to debate, don't want to talk it out, just want what you want. You want to stand alone as a tyrant. Yeah, there's no confusion around this. The left can try all they want to try and say, oh, he was a Trump supporter, and they can Photoshop him with Trump t-shirts. No, all the evidence is very, very clear. The Utah District Attorney just confirmed he is seeking the death penalty and execution of Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson.
I am filing a notice of intent to seek the death penalty. I do not take this decision lightly, and it is a decision I have made independently as county attorney, based solely on the available evidence and circumstances and nature of the crime. Because we are seeking the death penalty, the defendant will continue to be held without bail in the Utah County Jail. Turning to the 10-page, I am filing a notice of intent.
I'm definitely changing my mind, beginning to change my mind on the death penalty. I never liked it because I just didn't trust the government. I just have a deep distrust. I mean, I just think, well, what if Trudeau could have just started, executing, I don't know, the leadership of the truckers or something? He seems like a pretty soulless person, and a true authoritarian. But I mean, a case like this, look, it's so open and shut. He did it. This is the guy who did it. He left a massive trail behind him. He was not a professional hitman. He was not a professional. He wasn't from some sort of, special forces or something like that, or intelligence. No, he was just an idiot. Hold on. What's this one here? All right. So here it's just been confirmed that Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson started to lean more to the left, pro-gay and trans rights oriented. Let's take a look.
Become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders. This resulted in several discussions with family members, but especially between Robinson and his father, who have very different political views. In one conversation before the shooting, Robinson mentioned that Charlie Kirk would be holding an event at UVU, which Robinson said was a stupid venue for the event. Robinson accused Kirk of spreading hate. Robinson's father reported that when his wife showed him the surveillance image of the suspected shooter in the news, he agreed that it looked like their son. He also believed that the rifle that police suspected the shooter used matched a rifle that was given to his son as a gift.
Yeah, so once his picture was out there, which they did get out pretty quickly, there would be reasons to withhold a photo from the press, right? If you thought it was going to help catch the person, but basically, they smoked him out. And then the dad immediately recognized them, and then it was, well, the game's up at that point. Let's see. From Peter Schweizer, mainstream outlets now reporting alleged assassin Tyler Robinson did not act in a vacuum. There may even be dozens with advanced knowledge of his sinister plans. Marxist infiltration, transgender ideology, trips to Cuba, money from CCP operatives. This investigation is far from normal. Yeah, I think it's going to open up something wider. Charlie Kirk assassination investigation widens to probe whether pro-trans online groups knew in advance. Queer resistance, agitate, educate, organize, armed queers SLC, Salt Lake City, Utah. I think this is far from done at this point. What is this? So, Andy responded to this from Filthy Soup Eater. I hope other people will notice that the roommate's reward for cooperating with the FBI is to be misgendered outed in the indictment, to be repeatedly doxxed by news media, and to still have millions of people blaming them for radicalizing the shooter. Well, it was somebody who, by all reports, hated Christians, hated any kind of conservatives, and liked to make that known. So I think it's fair to speculate that there was some influence there. But this, I can't get into the brain of somebody who would write something like this, that their only reward was, very upset that this person who may be an accomplice in this in some way. Still, regardless of those, regardless of the text messages, which suggest that the roommate did not know in advance, but maybe it was an attempt to just, maybe it was an attempt to to mislead the investigation once he knew he was caught or was going to be caught or suspected it, to mislead any investigation to think that it wasn't. I don't know. That's all speculation. But I think somebody being misgendered is, considering you just had a 31-year-old man murdered in front of his family, I'm not concerned with whether this person was misgendered or not. Nobody is. What an insane thing to be concerned about. Andy writes, I think Luna Twig's reward for cooperating with the FBI is not being charged, as it was suggested that he followed his lover's instructions and destroyed evidence. That's right. He also didn't contact law enforcement after the suspect allegedly told him he committed the murder to stop Charlie Kirk's hate. Also, from the alleged chat log between the two, I remember how I was engraving bullets. So also too, what that note under the keyboard, right? Didn't contact anybody, didn't warn anybody. So yes, this is what I was saying. I've been saying all along, is that yes, I think the cooperating has to do with facing a long time in prison. Let's see. Viva Fry writes this. George Zinn, the man who admitted to falsely claiming he was the Charlie Kirk shooter, so as to create the opportunity for the actual shooter to get away, has been arrested for having, child abuse material on his phone. Just when you start to, as you get the details around these things with these people, and Antifa or anything like this into this, the far left culture, it's just gross. It's just gross and degenerate. Here is my speculative prediction. It is going to be revealed that he was in a Discord chat or other furry communities with others who were either involved in the planning or had advanced knowledge of the shooting. Zinn would have had advanced knowledge of the event and figured he could be of assistance to the assassination plot. It is inconceivable that Zinn was there randomly, spontaneously decided to assist in the plot, and then randomly had child abuse material on his phone. I don't know. I mean, it sounds, if we're, from the text messages, sound like he didn't know who he was, but who knows at this point, right? It's just gross. Like, it's just the abyss, right? It's the abyss. That whole world is just the abyss. It's like, I'm not doing stuff on Destiny. You know who that is? The guy he's just on Piers Morgan. He's the guy who gloated when the man at the Corey God damn it, I'm terrible with names. Compatore, is it Compatore? Just the innocent guy at the Trump rally in Butler was killed. He gloated about that. He's been for ages now trying to inspire and incite violence. That's my interpretation of his words. Just on Piers Morgan doing the same thing. Like, that guy is just the abyss, as far as I'm concerned. He's just the abyss. I don't want to look into the abyss. And this whole world, like, as you find out more details, it's the abyss. It's like you lose a part of your soul just knowing that it exists. Holy crap, Kash Patel just revealed new information about the investigation into Tyler Robinson. This is another bombshell. According to Kash, there are many more than 20 people from Discord who are now under investigation. Good. Let's hear what he says.
It's done in this investigation. Is the FBI investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely, and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence, and we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you a few questions about that, if I could.
Sure.
Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement. And we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat. And for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we've already done is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that. We're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground?
Every single one.
Yeah, fantastic. Let me just turn to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too familiar with.
So, of course, they're organizing. It's not like there's 3 of them. Like, we already know Antifa exists. Every city in the Western world, never mind just the United States, right? But like it's nurses, doctors. This is what's being exposed. This is what's being exposed over the last week. It's nurses, it's doctors, it's lawyers, it's grade school teachers. Like, it's not just a few. There are millions of people who share these views. To some extent, who would support political assassination? It's half of them. This is what polling is telling us. Of course there's organized groups. Of course there are. Plus, the thread that connects it all is Marxism. They're all Marxists, regardless of what the cause is, whether it's gender or whether it's like BLM, or it's all Marxism. And Marxists organize. Let's see. Here's Tyler Robinson's neighbor being interviewed. You can tell the media does not want him saying Tyler and Lance Twiggs were a couple. Well, let's take a look here.
With him.
Were they holding hands?
Yeah, they were. So, yeah, they drove off in his car, the Dodge Challenger.
The time you saw them or this week?
It was about the time I saw them. So
how long ago was that?
I would say about 2 weeks ago.
And so they looked like they were a couple?
Yeah.
And he was dressed all in black?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And you thought he was weird?
Yeah, I definitely, yeah.
What was weird about him?
Just the way he walked and just the way I've seen him. I've never seen really anybody dressed all in black with a mask on, and I thought that was just quite weird.
For those who've never seen the roommate, describe that person for us.
He did have freckles on his face. For the haircut, it was a weird haircut. It was kind of a mushroom shaped one. Yeah, I would say he didn't come out much, but definitely a few other, like just a little bit at a time.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he was going to have an operation to turn into a woman.
Yeah, and I think he's getting ready for that.
Sorry, in what way do you think that?
I remember them talking about a doctor's appointment. It was about.
So was just living there at that place with the neighbors weren't trying to transgenocide him or anything. Like, the level of propaganda to convince people that there's this apocalyptic catastrophe coming. The constant catastrophizing from left-wing politicians, Democrat politicians, but it's left-wing politicians all over the Western world. It's all the same rhetoric. They're just the same drones from the same hive mind. But it is genuinely deranging, right? Just here's like a neighbor who's just like, yeah, lived there. I mean, I'm assuming he didn't try and transgenocide him. I'm just assuming that. And then Charlie Kirk ends up dead because somebody is being deranged by lies. Classmates of Charlie Kirk's assassin claimed Tyler Robinson was a lone leftist in a Republican family, described him as spending much of his time on Reddit. Well, you know about Reddit, right? Like, Reddit's very left-wing.
I'll show y'all. That's him right there, Tyler Robinson. I'm not trying to clout chase, make this shit about me, but I'm not gonna say I knew this kid really well. I didn't know him very well at all, but I definitely saw him for 3 straight years in high school. And the best way I could describe him is just like a Reddit kid. I don't know. I feel like if you were in high school around that same time, and even probably now, 2018, and then those kinds of kids, but that's exactly what he was.
All right. I mean, it's all there now, right? I mean, it's open and shut at this point. Hold on, what happened here? All right. I want to go to JD Vance here. Nick Sortar posted this. So JD Vance hosted the Charlie Kirk show on the weekend, and this was incredibly refreshing to see. Just a conservative politician, a vice president, just not playing politics, just laying it out like it is. It's really impressive, and it's what's required in these times. Let's take a look.
There is no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
Yeah, that's refreshing, right? That's not just, milquetoast political. No, that's just spitting out facts. That's just accurately describing reality. Like, you can't have unity with people who want you dead. Like, that's their solution to your disagreement. That's their solution is you have to die, right? Someone whose idea of an open marketplace of ideas is the scattered corpses of their enemies while they stand there alone as a tyrant, you can't work with that person. That person is saying outright, I don't want to be a part of civilization. I don't want to be part of the marketplace of ideas. I don't want a seat at the table. I want everybody else at the table dead. Like, you can't work with that person. That person you can't have a civilization if too many people are like that. Like, I respect free speech for somebody who respects my right. I respect somebody's right to disagree with me if they respect my right to disagree with them. And that's how it used to be. That's how it used to be. Right? It's rapidly changing from that. We used to have Western civilization, United States, Canada. Used to just be that people could have different opinions and they would defend the other person's right to have that opinion, even if they hated that opinion. That's changing. We've got a red guard. We had a new red guard coming out of the universities every year for decades at this point, and they don't want to respect your ideas, right? You give them a seat at the table, they want to kill everybody else at the table. That doesn't work. At some point, Western civilization has to defend itself. It has to say, no, like, look, if you're a doctor and you support political assassination of the people that you disagree with, okay, well, like, you've already told us, you don't want to take part in society. You don't want to take part in civilization. You don't get to be a doctor. The hospital fires you. The hospital fires you. Sorry. But, I mean, I wouldn't want that person treating me. I wouldn't want a nurse who might take one look at you and decide, that person, is a stereotype of somebody who would disagree with me, so I'll let them die. No, I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want a young person to go into a university, university classroom and be afraid to speak their mind, which is already happening, by the way, because the professor will fail them if they don't agree with them. or accuse them of being a fascist in front of the rest of the class. No, you don't get to play anymore. Sorry, you don't even get to be a janitor at the university. You got to figure something else out, my friend, if somebody will hire you. I'm not saying put them in prison for cheering on political assassination. I'm saying you don't get to play anymore. And if you're not willing to play by the rules of civilized people, then you just don't. Look, if enough people in your country are revolutionary communists, you're going to end up being a communist too, whether you like it or not. And you're not going to have free speech, and you're not going to have any freedom. So I think what J.D. Vance here just reflects the obvious truth that Western civilization, the United States, needs to protect itself. Right? The open marketplace of ideas needs to protect itself. Well, that's just my thoughts. I mean, it's just totally obvious. Look, if 51% of your country becomes people who want Sharia law, you're getting Sharia law at some point. Nick Sortor, you can tell Charlie Kirk's killing is hitting Stephen Miller hard as he begins choking up. I've seen so many people choking up. Let's take a look here.
He was. And so before I talk to you about what we're doing to try to prevent something like this from happening again, maybe you could just talk about why you love Charlie, what memories you have of him, something that would give our audience a sense of what he was behind the microphone.
Yeah. I've known Charlie for 10 years. He was a treasured friend. And, you know, it's going to sound, he made you believe more in yourself, is the best way I could put that.
That's right.
He was your biggest cheerleader. He would, if I was working on a hard project, an important executive order, a major new initiative, he would give me the strength and the focus to get it done.
That's right.
He was everybody's supporter, enthusiast, cheerleader, promoter. He made all of us better every single day. You know, the memory that I keep turning to is not a single memory. It's a period of a couple months after we won the election. And Charlie was in the campaign or the transition office every single day. And from dawn till dusk, volunteering his time to get into the weeds, the nitty-gritty of government. And he was so damn excited. I mean, it really hurts to think about it right now. He was so excited about all of us being here. And we would be talking about every executive order, every new regulation, every new policy plan. It was such a thrill for me to get to spend a few months of my life because, you know, he came from the nonprofit, the activist world. I came from the government world. And in this transition, to be able to work hand in hand, take all of his ideas from being the leader of TPUSA, spending time with college students, spending time with activists, and then be able to be with us at the transition to plan out the next step of our government. That was an experience for which I will always be grateful. And the last thing I'll say is that, to my earlier point, Charlie would send me messages all the time, just saying, you know, great work, or here's.
Yeah, it's going to be, he's irreplaceable. You know, his message was, you know, let's talk so that it doesn't come to violence. Let's debate so it doesn't come to violence. And the answer from the left was, we don't want to debate. We want violence. So he's not going to be, he can't be replaced. And, you know, the question is, who's standing behind him? But at this point, you just have to recognize that, yeah, they don't want it. They don't want to talk. And it's not a few of them. It's, you know, to some extent, it's half of them. All right. Maybe I'll do a quick ad read. What have we got here? Got some exciting ads here, I can tell you right now. Maybe we'll do, you know what we'll do? Let's do a 1775 coffee. I know you guys love that. Let's do it right now. All right, everybody. Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped. Only 1,000 units. That's not a lot. I'd move fast if I were you. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus, which is the best kind of focus, by the way, the laser kind. No crash, no commies. Oh, single origin, small batch, toxin free, thank God, and mold free. Mold is gross. We don't want that. Plus, you're also getting, guess what? A gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions, probably some sort of old commie hag. Yikes. And a black 1775 tumbler. That's $170 worth of coffee and gear, yours for only $99. Folks, that's less than $100. Not that I'm a mathematician. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Well, guess what, folks? Spoiler alert, it sure is. Go to 1775coffee.com. That's 1775coffee.com/studio. And grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something. Is it anti-communism? Is it free speech? I know it's free speech, just like Rumble does. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. That's what people love. That's what people love right there. I nailed it. I nailed it. I was born for this. Those beautiful 1775 coffee ads. I mean, I can't take the credit. I've got to give all the credit to 1775 Coffee for writing that beautiful ad for me that I barely have to improvise at all on. They didn't put anything about anti-communism in the original ad. I add that in myself, but I give them all the credit. Hey, it's all them. It's all them. Denny Ringus, how you doing? Let's see. Mickey says, I think I just read Kohlberger was on Discord. Probably. Denny Ringus, I hope everyone is doing well. I heard Christy Freeland, the Minister of Transportation, is out. Yes, she's going to be, I don't know, Canada's envoy into funneling billions of dollars to Ukraine, supposedly to rebuild or something. But probably it's all going to get stolen. Yes, I believe she's going to be Canada's special envoy for funneling billions of dollars of Canadians' money to Ukraine for some sort of rebuilding scam where all the money's just going to be stolen. So I think that's her official position now. JDL, how are you? Says, end tenure at university and college. I'm afraid it's going to have to be done. Like they have to get the revolutionary communists that are poisoning generations of young people. They have to get them out. I mean, these are people that celebrate political violence. These are revolutionary communists, and they're trying to turn their students into revolutionary communists too. You can't. A healthy country can't function with that. Just pumping out new young revolutionaries every single year. Let's see. Judo Survivor says, the question from the reporter to the neighbor bugs me. He was going to have an operation to turn into a woman. No surgery can magically turn a man into a woman. Well, that is true. It can turn you into a facsimile of one. Mickey says, some of them are more beautiful than us. There are trans women who you just can't tell. You just can't. There are trans people. I mean, I don't know. I think as an adult who has gone through all of this, and, who's not just like a guy with a beard who threw on a sundress, But when, an adult who made this decision as an adult and all of that, and I don't know, I don't care really. I think there should be guardrails in place so they're not just, taking advantage of people, but, whatever, But there are some that actually do pass. I mean, there's some that they go in the women's bathroom because nobody would know that they're not women. So that is also a thing. Let's see. Rosie said, so sad Vance's kids were treated like that at Disney. Yeah, like crazy old Karens, leftist Karens were screaming at his kids. Just awful. Spambot says, I was most impressed at the banner on the Charlie Kirk show list. J.D. Vance, longtime friend of Charlie Kirk. Doesn't say V POTUS or anything political. Yeah, that's nice. All right, I'm going to skip down to the end here, and we're going to move on. Let's see. Hold on. Rosie says, ad read 1779 out of 10. Commie hate galore. I believe that's the most you can get out of 10, or almost the most. Again, I'm not a mathematician. All right, let's get on with it. So here is somebody, I believe this was a nurse who was suspended for just suggesting that doctors shouldn't cheer on the assassination of people they disagree with. I am suspended indefinitely unpaid. He was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. Would you want that guy as your doctor? Even if you're a lefty, would you want that guy as your doctor? What if he just decides, that person looks like a hateful conservative?
Are you fired?
No, I'm not fired as of right now. Right now, I am suspended indefinitely unpaid.
Why?
So I walked into the nurse's station and I just had learned about Charlie Kirk. I saw this guy. I didn't know who he was at the time. And he was standing there celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, saying how he deserved it. He hated Charlie Kirk and he had it coming to him. And
so you love Charlie Kirk. You didn't just want to wear him.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Charlie Kirk. My first retweet in 2018 it was like my first blue checkmark retweet was Charlie Kirk. I was a couple years out of college and loved him ever since.
You're aghast at this. And what'd you say?
So I looked down at his badge because I didn't know, what job, if he was a doctor or a nurse,
never saw him
before. I looked down, I see his badge and it says doctor. And I said, you're a doctor? I said, how are you saying this as a doctor that someone deserved to die? I mean, to me, I was just mind blown.
Just crazy. Again, it's not just Antifa, lurking around the fringes of protests. It's doctors, nurses, teachers, professors, lawyers. How about this? Criminologist goes off script on CNN, bluntly states that the Charlie Kirk shooting suspect's hate for Christians was the driving motive behind the murder. I'm surprised they let this guy on. They must not have done like a little pre-interview for him to find out what he thought.
At some level, Laura, I believe that he is proud of what he did. And this is something that had been planned for quite a while, I'm sure. And while we don't know the specific motive, I can almost guarantee you it's rooted in rage in some way, and it's highly specific. And I think Charlie Kirk represented something both personal to him as well as symbolic. And he was striking out at things that he had grown to hate and resent. And I'm talking about Christian conservatism and gun ownership. And so at some level, I think he was actually taking recognition, saying, yes, I did this, and at some level, taking some pride in it. At some level, Laura.
Well, she probably got fired immediately for not interrupting him, right? And doing the necessary narrative management. Elon Musk says all he wanted was reasonable debate, but still the radical left celebrated the cold-blooded murder of Charlie Kirk. So he posted this. Let's take a look. Charlie Kirk takes down anti-gay extremist, which is not what, that's not what this, the CBC didn't show this for some reason. CNN hasn't shown this. MSNBC.
Hey, Mr. Kirk, thanks for coming out tonight. I got a question for you real quick. I've been told about 5 years ago when gay marriage was legalized nationwide, the conservative movement has been explicitly pro-traditional family. Now, both you and your organization advocate for the acceptance of anti-Christian, immoral lifestyles like homosexuality and transsexuality, going as far to invite drag queens like Lady MAGA to your events. It seems to me and anyone who's paying attention that conservatives just believe whatever liberals believed 5 years ago. Right now, there's a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and, oh, excuse me, phone shut off.
Go back to your notes. That's probably where you saved it. You got to like push double tap and then go over.
Right now, there is a push by the left to normalize pedophilia by way of child drag queen shows and rebranding pedophiles as minor attracted persons.
Well, that's true. I mean, look, extremist, is he wishing for anybody's death? I mean, he's obviously not with the gays. He's not going to be at any pride parades. But, he's not, I haven't heard him advocate for anybody's death yet either. Right? Anyway, let's continue. And yes, drag queen shows and the maps, minor attracted people, that's all things, these are all leftist projects.
5 years from now, will you be promoting child drag queen shows? Will child abuse become part of the conservative platform?
Boy, that's a slippery slope fallacy if I've ever seen one. First of all, I've never invited a drag queen to come to any Turning Point USA event. I was at Politicon, and an individual by the name of Lady MAGA came up, and I took a picture, and she walked away. Secondly, let me ask you a question. Are you a Trump supporter?
Yes, sir.
So are you a proud Trump supporter?
Of course.
So are you sickened that he had a gay man speak at his convention?
Yes.
Then you're not a Trump supporter, my friend. Thank you very much. Let me ask you another question. Should he return the money of Peter Thiel, an openly gay man who supports his campaign?
No, if it helps him strategically,
okay.
Sure he can.
Should he stop talking to Tammy Bruce, who's an open lesbian that's a Fox News contributor?
If it's affecting his ideas, then probably, yeah.
Okay, so you say you're a Trump supporter, yet you have all these issues and these disagreements with him. Let me be very clear about my position. My personal position. I'm a Christian first and foremost, then an American, then a constitutionalist, then a conservative, in that order. I believe marriage, biblically, if we want to have a biblical and theological discussion, as articulated in the greatest book ever to exist in the history of the world, the Holy Bible. Marriage in the Holy Bible is one man, one woman. I also do not believe in the sort of rhetoric that some people engage in, that all of a sudden that they say there's no place for gay people in the conservative movement. I do not believe that. And let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question then?
Sure, go for it.
So, all right, I think we get the point there. And yeah, I mean, look, I don't think that I'm not pro shutting gay people out, gay or lesbian people out, or even trans people out of society, right? I'm just, like with the gender stuff, I'm going to tell the truth about it, but I'm not. I mean, this guy's this guy's too far for me, but I would not say that he's an extremist. I mean, I think extremist at this point, we're going to have to reserve for people who are violent or who advocate for violence. To me, that's the extremism. All right. Anyway. But in any case, you're not going to see that on CBC or CNN or MSNBC because that would accurately portray Charlie Kirk. That would accurately describe reality. So that's why the news doesn't do it, obviously. They have a narrative to sell, no matter how sick and twisted it is. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. Although I think I've got her in another tab, actually. We'll leave that for now. Let's move on here. So, and actually, go back to the chat for a second. Hold on. Let's go back to the chat for a second. Let's see. What are you guys talking about? JDL says no rioting, looting, or arson after Charlie Kirk assassination. Yes, it was candlelight vigils. Yet they still go on and talk about how, well, you have to be really scared of retaliation from the right. Well, what retaliation? Candlelight vigils? Like what? Maybe calling the businesses of people who are openly advocating for political violence and murder. No, I haven't seen any riots. I haven't seen any buildings set on fire. Any of it. I haven't seen any of the thing the left constantly does all the time. Danny Ringus says money laundering sounds like it. Yes. Chrystia Freeland's new job. Trudeau Survivor says, what was Charlie Kirk's position on gay marriage? He was against it. He wasn't against gay people, or he welcomed gay people into his movement, but he personally was not, for religious reasons, not for gay marriage, which is, he's allowed to be, right? He's allowed to be. I don't care about gay marriage myself. I couldn't care less. But, that's not genocidal. Let's see. Jack says, how you doing, Jack? Italy, bitterly, titties. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. A poet. All right. Let's get to this now. So, hold on. So we keep seeing this now. The narrative maintenance, the narrative repair. Everybody has to remember that, no, it's really the right you need to be scared of. That's where all the political violence comes from. It's really the right you need to be scared of. It's every cable news, every left-wing media source right now. That's what they're going overboard. That's what they're going into turbo narrative maintenance for. Before we do that, I just want to say, if you're over on YouTube, the other Rumble doesn't need to worry about this. There's a new Radio Baloney channel. Right now, you're watching on the original channel. It's been around for years, 13,000 subscribers. If you go to my homepage, you'll find this. This is the new channel. All of the U.S. news, the world news, the meme reviews, which everybody loves, is going to be on this from now on. YouTube is not helping me with this at all. The algorithm is not helping me at all. So I really require you guys to help me out. Please help me out. Go there, subscribe to the channel. You'll get all my videos then. They won't be on the main channel anymore. It'll just be live streams and Canada news. So everything else, you're going to have to go to this one. Please go there and subscribe. Thank you. All right. So, yes, the narrative maintenance is afoot, right? Immediately, the media jumped to narrative repair, just to make sure everybody remembers who they're really supposed to be afraid of, and that's the right. That's the right wing, and all that right wing violence, and three quarters of political violence comes from the right. That 76% of political violence is from the right. This is the message everywhere. It's totally predictable. They do this every time, and also predictably, they lie about it. From The Economist. Well, let's go to the article. Is radical left violence really on the rise in America? The killing of Charlie Kirk is part of a grim pattern of political violence. This is what the data shows. So what do they tell us here? Well, here's from the prosecution project. The prosecution project, and here right is the orange. Islamist is the dark gray. Other is the light gray, and left is the dark gray. First off, Islamist and left are the same thing now. So Antifa is marching with the Islamist, all of the Hamasniks and the Palestine people. And if you look at the college campuses, the left and the Islamists are the same thing. They are joined together at the hip now. They should just be considered the same thing. This is a trick they do, by the way, and we'll see more of it. Okay. Even still, though, you see 2024 there. Looks like there's less right-wing violence than there is from Islamists, left, and other, which is interesting. But and here it looks like about the same in 2023. So that's interesting, isn't it? Even though you have these very, very skewed numbers beforehand. Prosecution Project. Now, I went to see their website and just see like what are their like resources and stuff. Well, you got ADL there, of course. We're going to get to that in a second. You've got like the Southern Poverty Law Center, who's just a propaganda arm of the Democrat Party at this point. I thought we would take a look at the ADL hate map. So what is this? This is, hold on. Let's go here. The ADL heat map. So hate, extremism, anti-Semitism, and terrorism. So this is where the numbers come from when they say it's all right-wing. It's the vast majority is right-wing hate. That's where it comes from. It comes from this. Okay, so let's see. What have we got here? Total incidents, 343. This is for 2025. So okay, so here's the menu. Right-wing, white supremacist, Islamist, right-wing, anti-government, left-wing, right-wing, other, then unknown, and then other. So I just put in right-wing, 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 other. You'll notice there's no left-wing other. There's no left-wing anti-government. What's Antifa exactly? I don't think they're super pro-government. You're already starting to see how this is rigged. So they've got 3 for the right wing here. They've got white supremacist, which it's not even white supremacist. Like that is an extremely fringe ideology now. Right wing, anti-government, right wing, other. Okay. So they've got 343 here. And on this map, you can see there's lots all over the place. So let's change the metrics here. Let's see. So let's get rid of the right wing. And let's do the only option you have for left wing, just the one there. Let's apply that. What have you got? 0. None. Well, I guess they're right. I guess it is all of the right wing. But, I seem to remember something. Wasn't there something that happened in, hold on a second. Wasn't there something that happened in Los Angeles this year? They've got nothing there. Isn't that weird? Let's see. Yeah, there was something. Remember this guy? Lighting all those cars on fire and attacking ICE and attacking police, throwing rock and burning cars and burning tons of stuff. Remember that? Huh. That's weird. I could have sworn that happened this year. That isn't included on the ADL heat map. You're starting to see how it works. I wonder if it's anything from out of Portland. There's always something on. Antifa runs Portland, right? Let's see, nothing at Portland either. What about like New York? Well, actually, we don't even need to look because we know. 0. Nothing. My God, the left is well behaved. Did you have any idea how well behaved the left is? Well, you're starting to get how they do this now. It's genuinely unbelievable. I wonder, there must be something, because there was like months of rioting, $2 billion worth of damage in 2020. All that BLM stuff, a couple of dozen people were killed. There was arson, looting. I mean, that surely must be on this, right? It surely must be on it. Hold on. How do we... So hold on 1 second. Apply. No, it's 0. So apparently 0 incidents in 2020 from the left. Nothing. Not one. Isn't that weird? Don't you find that weird? Yeah, it's all just a scam. Oh, wait a second. Let's get that's Arizona there. So it was on Arizona. Let's see. Total incidents 9. So in 2020, there were 9 incidents of concern from the left. There we go. There we go. I guess there was a little bit. There was one extremist murder in Portland. I know there was one because a MAGA guy was murdered by an Antifa walking down the street. So 9 for 2020, $2 billion worth of damage. There was at least a couple of dozen people killed, innocent people, looting, arson, all of it. Police officers attacked, but apparently nothing, because the left is really well behaved, except for all of the terrible things that they're constantly doing that the ADL doesn't count for some reason. Well, I mean, look, here's the data set. Let's see. Anti-Semitic incidents. The thing is, they don't count them anymore. Because remember when they stopped looking in? Remember when there was a bit of a panic about anti-Semitic incidents in New York? And then all of a sudden it went real quiet because it turned out it wasn't white people doing it. So, same in Canada, right? Tons of actual, genuine anti-Semitic incidents in Canada, but the media doesn't really like to talk about it now because it's not evil white people doing it. Anti-LGBT, blah, 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 white supremacist propaganda, white supremacist events, extremist murders, terrorist plots and attacks, extremist police shootouts. Most of it here is all stuff that they would like to blame on the right wing, right? You can see how it's all rigged. Let's go, and then let's take a look at right wing. So let's get rid of the left wing, right wing, right wing. Let's go. 2020, 5,233 versus 9 for the left. Versus 9. That's in 2020. So I'm sure what everybody remembers about 2020 was all of those right-wingers rioting and looting, right? And murdering. I'm sure that's what everybody remembers about 2020. This is obscene. This is obscene. I'm sure that there must be some journalists who use this data, who go to this and go, well, this can't be right. Like, this obviously isn't right. This is a lie. If you just were an alien who came to Earth and you were using this as a resource and you wanted to find out about 2020 in the United States, you would think that the country had been overrun by right-wing violence. And then you check left-wing, which there's only one option for here. And you would go, oh, there's only 9. Oh. This is how it's done, folks. This is how the sausage is made. Let's go back to 2025 again. Just make sure I had the right number for the left for 2025. There we go. Apply. Yeah, 0. 0 total incidents for 2025 from the left. Again, I don't know. Seem to remember all this stuff happening in LA. There's also been pregnancy centers firebombed. Obviously what happened to Charlie Kirk. There was the just a few weeks ago, just a trans shooting at the Christian school. They don't count any of that, though, is the thing. And as you'll see here, as we'll go through this again, another trick they do is right-wing anti-government. So anything anti-government is right-wing. So Antifa's anti-government. I guess that all goes into the right-wing column. This is how they scam it. This is how they scam everybody. You've got this one option to check left-wing, which is extremely limited. It apparently doesn't include any anti-government activities. I guess the left doesn't do that except all the time that they do. I guess when they besiege a federal courthouse in Portland for months and try and burn it down, or they burn down a police precinct in Minnesota, that's right-wing violence, I guess, because there's not even an option for left-wing anti-government. Yeah, it's just left wing. Right wing, right wing, right wing. They should at least put the Islamist and left wing together in one if they're doing this with the right. But they won't. So you can see it's totally rigged. That's how they do it. That's how they scam you. Gallery, or sorry, this is, hold on. Hold on. So this is the glossary of extremism and hate from the ADL. Let's see, what's in the news now? Stu Peters, apparently. Neo-Nazi, great replacement. Let's see. America First, now commonly known as President Trump's foreign policy strategy, emphasizing American nationalism and non-intervention, but evil. Don't forget evil, because the ADL is telling you that it's in their glossary of extremism and hate. So America First is extremism and hate. Don't forget it. Let's see. Turning Point USA. In their glossary of hate and extremism, Turning Point USA, that is Charlie Kirk's organization. Turning Point USA. How do these people sleep at night? Honestly, how do they sleep at night? It's grotesque. This is what the media uses to justify. Well, ADL has it on their hate group list. Just this moderate, very moderate organization led by a very moderate man. Let's see. ADL, this is their hate on display, hate symbols database. It's basically rigged, so just anything can be interpreted as hate. 100%. 100% is shorthand for 100% white. Is it? Or is it just that in your imagination? Or you saw that on a message board in like 2007 that like 4 people read? Because that's their standard, by the way. Let's see. They've got all the numbers here. They're trying to get all the numbers in there, right? Look at all these numbers. Did you know all these numbers were evil? Look, they got the 1423. What is that? Like some white supremacist tax form? Apparently it's all evil. They just cover everything. Did you know that 28's hate as well? Did you know 28's hate? Better hope your birthday isn't on the 28th, or else it's a hate birthday. Let's see, 43. I mean, look at this. How is a white supremacist supposed to remember all of these, right? You can't possibly. Oh, God. Was there another one in here that, hold on. Let's go back again. Hold on. I thought they had another one in here that was just utterly and totally ridiculous. Oh, you know what I have to look for? Do they have a, let's see, hold on a second. General hate symbols, racist hand signs. Let's check out that. Let's see. Because I'm pretty sure they had the okay hand sign. Don't do that. That's a hate sign. Let's see. Hold on. Okay hand gesture. There it is. Trump did it. So it's hate. You can't make this stuff up. It's so hilarious. It's like they just train it's just like everything, every number and every thing a person can do with their hands is hate. So just in case they need it, in case they need to smear somebody as being a hate, they've got it all right here. Whatever you do with your hand, don't worry. Somehow it's hateful. Hate on display. Okay, hand gesture. Still up. I would have assumed they would have taken it down by now because it's so absurd. But no, apparently not. All good. All good. So yeah. So this is how they come about it, to, informing you that actually you're the hate. It's all a lie. It's all totally rigged. It's all bull. This is probably funded by the government as well, by the way. All right, let's move on. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see. All right. What are you guys saying? Denny Ringus says, I feel bad for Charlie's family. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. Yes, that's the right sentiment. Let's see. What are we? An hour and 30 into this already? Jeez. Mickey says, my brother came out of the closet after 30 years of marriage. My dad would never have understood, but he was gone, and my mom and myself accepted it as long as it made him happy. Yeah, why not? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like people on the left think that we're like these weird, like we hate everybody or something. Like, it's bizarre. Like, I find it very odd. It's like people think that, like, in the, their high school graduation in like the 80s, we were like tossing, grad night, we're like tossing gay people off rooftops or something. No, I've worked with gay people. Friends, one of my friends right now is gay. For all we know, he's off being gay right at this moment. Don't care. I find the left seems to, you see sometimes in the comments, they seem to be fairly confused about this. Let's see. All right. I'm tired tonight, you guys. You're going to have to be patient with me. I'm not my chipper self. Let's see. But we've gotten through a lot of like the kind of the heaviest stuff already. So, JDL says mostly peaceful protest. Yep. Well, you notice, I mean, there's a bunch of candlelight vigils for Charlie Kirk. There's no rioting. There's no burning down going on. Spambot Fodder says, wasn't Andy No nearly killed in 2020? Yeah. They did what they call milkshaking, where they put like cement, like wet cement in a like a McDonald's milkshake cup, and they throw it at your head. It's extremely dangerous. And he was quite badly injured. I think he had brain swelling from that. Spambot said he was seriously fucked up. Yeah, he was. Trudeau Survivor says Charlie Kirk's take that you have to align with Trump's position on gays in order to be pro-Trump was lame. People who are pro-Trump are not obligated to agree with Trump on every issue. Well, I mean, that's true as well. Let's not forget that, Trump in 2016 in 2016 at the Republican National Convention was the first nominee to ever take a pride flag on stage, right? It didn't help him out at all, though, it turns out, because they still smeared him anyway. Let's see. Mickey says, I didn't agree with Kirk on everything, but I didn't want him dead. Yeah, I don't want anybody dead. That's the thing. Let's see. That's the thing. I don't even understand that headspace of like, you disagree with somebody. I mean, first off, I would at least like go and try and like find some like in context clips or writing or something like that, at least to confirm the person was as unpleasant as I was told, but I don't want anybody dead. I mean, that's not the world I want to live in. Right? Like, although I don't want, you've got people who, they don't want an open marketplace of ideas, right? They want the marketplace of ideas to them is the corpses of the people they disagree with them just standing there as a tyrant. Right? You can't reason with that. You can't have a discussion with that. You can't deal with people who just want you dead. If you want everybody else at the table dead, you can't have a seat at the table. I'm not talking about violence here. I'm saying, like, you shouldn't be. I am fine with canceling those people who just tell us they do not want to take part in civilized society. Let's see. Rosie says CDC claims death by prion is extremely rare. I don't even know what that means. I know of 3 cases in Tennessee in 1 year. CDC keeps no records. How can they claim rare? Lies. I don't know. How did we go off in this direction? I don't even know what a prion is. Trudeau survivor in Canada, the left pro-Palestinians shut down the gay parade, presumably under the threat of violence. Well, they've done that several times now at pride parades. Maybe they should start to clue in. They don't like you, right? They don't like you. Just say, we don't want you at our parades anymore if you're going to keep shutting them down. Let's see. Rosie says, so many lies, so much propaganda everywhere. Yes, unfortunately. I've watched just a lot of it on the Canadian media over the last few days. It's disheartening, I will say. Let's see. Recross says there was no reason to kill Kirk. In fact, killing him just made him more than he probably would have been in life. Well, they made him into a martyr. And apparently an enormous amount of people, tens of thousands of people anyway, have joined Turning Points USA. It's not going to achieve the goal, the desired goal, and it shouldn't. Rambot says ADL is absolute demented lunatics. Well, it's just pure propaganda, right? It's political, it's partisan political, and it's just exists to smear everybody who's not a Democrat. It's an American organization. That's the purpose of it. Rambot says, or angry, demented loonies. Yes. McCross says, Charlie wasn't a damn thing to me until he was killed. I knew who he was, but didn't listen to him. Well, yes, it's like a lot more people know who he was now. I'm sure more people than ever have seen his videos. And like the real ones, not the edited one, not the fake ones. Let's see. McCross says, if they will unceremoniously shoot Kirk dead, what would stop them from killing me? Nobody, because I think they are demented. Well, that's the next stage of the revolution, right? Where it's mass. That's, they call it the Red Terror for a reason. Rosie says, new shot game for you. Every time Richie says, let's see, or commie, drink up. All right. Trudeau survivor says, Charlie Kirk's niche was debating ignorant college students. Too simple-minded and repetitive for me. Not my cup of tea either. This is the thing, is that it's shocking how ignorant they were, because these are supposed to be, the best and the brightest. They're supposed to be intelligent. Like, since when was 19 or 20 or 22 or 23 like a child? You shouldn't be a child. You should be well on your way to becoming a functional, confident adult by that point. I mean, that's history, right? That's what it was through most of history. You should already be extremely competent, right? And you're at university. Well, obviously these children, these Peter Pans, these university Peter Pans, I guess we'll call them. But obviously, they're not getting a good education. They're not learning how to think. They're not learning how to debate. They're not learning how to express themselves. They shouldn't be simple-minded. That's the point. They shouldn't be. They should be so much more sophisticated, especially if they're in their second or third or fourth year. That's the shocking thing. That's what's shocking about it, is the decline in the quality of education. Let's see. Macross says it's, if they will do it to the best of us, what would they do to the least of us? Again, they call it the Red Terror for a reason, right? Dramus, how you doing? Good to see you. Missed the first hour. Did you talk about Freeland going to Ukraine? Who is going to pay her? Well, we are, obviously. Yeah, we did talk about it. We might get back into it again a bit later. Let's see. We talked about it briefly. All right. All right, let's get back to it. Where were we? So we just did the ADL stuff and the fake hate the fake hate stuff. Let's get to Kash Patel. Kash Patel. So he was on fire. He was on fire dealing with just really duplicitous and performative Democrats. Let's see. Senator Mazie Hirono is whining to Kash Patel, saying it's harsh to require women do pull-ups. Like, man, to join the FBI. You can't make it up. It's so absurd. I mean, what did Nancy Pelosi say about AOC's district in New York? A glass of water could get elected there. It's sad. It's genuinely sad. And I think it's true. I mean, Hirono, she's from Hawaii, I think. I guess a pineapple could get elected there.
Move on to my, you've been asked some questions about changes to your hiring standard, and including college degrees and possibly the age. But, one question I had is, that you are now requiring applicants to be able to do a certain kind of pull-ups, which a lot of women cannot because of physiological differences. Are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring a physical program at BFTC at Quantico because FBI agents carrying guns in the field have to chase down bad guys and do really hard work. The physical fitness standards of those agents
are you requiring these kinds of pull-ups?
We are requiring everybody to pass the 1811 standards at BFTC. If you want to chase down a bad guy and put him in handcuffs, you better be able to do a pull-up.
The reason I ask is that there are concerns about whether or not being able to do these kinds of harsh pull-ups is really required of FBI agents.
He just told you that it is, obviously. This illustrates how they're not interested in the answer. They're not even interested in thinking about their own questions. Obviously, yeah, chasing down the bad guy, putting him in cuffs, this can get very dangerous. It can be very dangerous work. Maybe there should be some physical standard just to make sure you yourself don't get killed as an agent. Like, baffling. It's baffling how this passes as, for politics. Let's take a look.
One pull-up is not harsh, and there are always medical exemptions to that.
I'm
just obviously, you should be physically fit enough to take down the bad guys, put them in cuffs, not get yourself killed. Obviously.
Move on to my.
But you see, her performance here betrays what a charade this all is. How none of it matters to her. It's just politics. Even if she looks like an absolute imbecile in the process, doesn't care. Where she is, a glass of water, a ham sandwich, a can of Spam would get elected if it's got a D on it. Doesn't matter. Absolutely pathetic. Kash Patel went nuclear on Adam Schiff. This is pretty heated. Nick Sortor posted this clip. Let's take a look. And Adam Schiff he genuinely is the worst. He's just year after year the worst. He's so awful. He's so duplicitous. He's so slimy, right? Let's go.
People to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're not in
inmates.
the weeds?
What I am doing is
most-
protecting
the
this country,
most- the
providing
most
historic
significant
reform,
witness-
and
the most
combating the
significant witness,
weaponization of
the
intelligence
Epstein
by the likes
files
of you.
cover-up
And we have
gets
countlessly proven you to
from
be a
your
liar in
administration,
Russiagate, in
and you
January
call that
6th.
being
You are
in
the
the
biggest
weeds?
fraud to ever sit in the
This
United States
stinks to
Senate.
high
You are a
heaven.
disgrace to this
This stinks to high
institution
heaven.
and an utter coward.
And I'm not surprised.
I'm not
I'm
surprised
not
that you continue to
surprised
lie
that
from your
that
perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your
and for good
charade.
reason.
You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take
and
it
make-
to
you
the
can
bank
take an
that the
internet-
FBI is
you
protecting
can
this
make an
country
internet troll,
and the state and
the FBI
citizens of the
director
California.
will
We
always
are
be
bringing
nothing more
historic
than an
reform.
internet
Point of
troll.
order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
You said
take
I'm the
control
most
of this
transparent
situation.
FBI director in history.
control of this
33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
Go run to the cameras where you want to go now. Yeah, he hit the nail on the head there. It's all just performance. It's just performance art, right? Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best way to handle it, right? It's not very clean, right? And it's a little chaotic, but I mean, otherwise you're just gonna get lectured and lied to, right? Just for a guy performing for the cameras. Just purely with partisan political motivations. And yeah, Schiff is the slimiest of the slimy, right? What do we have here? Senator Chuck Grassley says an FBI whistleblower confirmed Arctic Frost, a bureau project used to target groups like Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. He called it a tool for partisan FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors to go after the entire Republican political apparatus. And that's where stuff like this comes in, right? Where you've got Turning Point USA on the ADLs, a glossary of extremism and hate. Turning Point USA. The stuff all works together. It's all connected. It's all part of the same propaganda machine, the same influence machine. Let's take a look.
Central American gangs like MS-13. Now, it's well understood that your predecessor left you an FBI infected with politics. I'm going to provide examples of that today, including making public new whistleblower records. At your nomination hearing, I made public records that whistleblowers provide me about Arctic Frost. Arctic Frost was the FBI case opened and approved by antitrust Trump FBI agent Thibault. Arctic Frost then became Jack Smith's Electra case against then Citizen Trump and now President Trump. These new records show that Arctic Frost was much broader than just an electoral matter. The case was expanded to Republican organizations. Some examples of the group that Ray FBI sought to place under political investigation included the Republican National Committee, Republican Attorney General's Association, and various Trump political groups. In total, 92 Republican targets, including Republican groups and Republican-linked individuals, were placed under investigative scope of Arctic Frost. On that political list was one of Charlie Kirk's groups, Turning Point USA. In other words, Arctic Frost wasn't just a case to politically investigate Trump. It was the vehicle by which partisan FBI agents and Department of Justice prosecutors could achieve their partisan ends and improperly investigate the entire Republican political apparatus. So today, Senator Johnson and I are making these records public for the entire country to see, and I hope a lot of people are interested in seeing what government can do when various agencies have a political agenda. My investigative work has also exposed the political way in which Peter...
Just the corruption is mind-boggling, is it not? I mean, it's part of the cultural revolution. It's part of the political revolution as well. Just by any means necessary, shut it down. By any means necessary, just power it. Just about power. Incredible. Let's see. John Solomon breaking. FBI asks, this is from June 17th, asks spy agencies to destroy intel and alleged China plot to aid Joe Biden 2020 election. Have the same problems in Canada. The last election, the election before that, the election before that. Amazing. All right. What do we got here? I want to do this quickly. Wall Street Mavs says this. The Epstein evidence was likely deleted or altered during the Biden administration. I've been kind of saying this for a while. You'd expect that to happen. I mean, such a corrupt administration. I saw this today. I thought, well, yeah, I've been saying this for a while now. I mean, I think it's highly likely that the Biden administration would have deleted, destroyed evidence. Prince Andrew has been removed from all public duties for a reason. Peter Mandelson was fired as U.S. ambassador for a reason. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for a reason. Claiming nobody else was involved and Epstein only got young girls for himself is ridiculous. Well, this is what Kash Patel is saying here. Kash Patel takes the stand and declares Jeffrey Epstein never trafficked young children to anyone.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay. Now, you've seen most of the files.
Maybe that we said this before months ago. It may be that Biden administration just destroyed the evidence. It could just be as simple as that. You know, you don't have the evidence. Now, I don't know what is going on behind the scenes, but I think it's entirely plausible that Biden administration did destroy a bunch of evidence, if not to protect themselves, to screw over Trump. I don't know. That's speculation. Let's move on. Let's go to memes, shall we? Let's do some memes. Then we'll get back to the chat for a minute, shall we? All right, here we go. Elon Musk posted this one. Let's see. There's a teacher. They're all Nazis. On TV, they're all Nazis. There. Woke musician, they're all Nazis. They're all Nazis. Guy with a rifle. Yeah, it seems to be kind of a straight line there, doesn't it? Kind of a straight line there. This is why the media has gone into narrative repair so quickly. So quickly. They don't want people to think about it. Just get them right back on it's really the right you need to be scared of. And the ADL has this fake hate map, this fake heat map. You know, so just remember, everybody, the violence actually comes from the right. They're really the scary ones. And what are they going to do? What's the response going to be? Immediate narrative repair. This is why. Because they know they're complicit. They know it. Let's see. Charlie Kirk shot for his opinion. They're very happy about it. Half of them, half of the left. Commies fired for theirs. Freaking out. Look, I'm not going to listen to the people who don't believe in free speech, who don't want to participate. Right? The people who don't want to participate in an open marketplace of ideas. Well, I think we should give them what they want, right? If you're celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, right? Your idea of a marketplace of ideas is the bodies of your enemies scattered around while you stand there alone, gloating as a tyrant. So you don't get to play. Like, if they're telling us they don't want free speech, we should avail them of that. Right? If enough of them, if whatever country you're in, if enough of the people are them, well, you're not going to have free speech. You're going to have a communist, authoritarian, dystopian state. That's just going to happen, right? So, no, I mean, I don't have any pity for the doctors, the lawyers, the teachers, the professors who get fired for expressing glee and encouragement for further political violence, further political terrorism, further assassinations. The people who say, next, who's next? Yeah, no, I'm sorry, you don't get to play anymore. You don't get a seat at the table if you want everybody else at the table dead. Sorry. It's really a high time that Western civilization started defending itself from the people who want to destroy it. Look, if you've got people on the left and the right who can respectfully disagree, or even not so respectfully disagree, just not want to kill each other, right? Those people are what we call an open, a free marketplace of ideas. These people, not so much. They don't want it. They just want everybody dead. Let's see. What's this one? Freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. Oh, your terms are acceptable. I guess they didn't see that coming. Hold on. Let me refresh this. Let's see. From Plato, no one is more hated than he who speaks the truth. And that's never been more true, has it? Democrats right now from Declaration of Memes. Ban guns or we'll keep trying to murder you with them. It makes sense to them somehow. It all makes sense to the hive mind somehow, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't think they're getting the response that they wanted. What's this? Data Republican posted this one. Democrats, Charlie Kirk, Democrats, Republicans need to calm down. This is CNN, MSNBC, ABC News. This is the New York Times, Washington Post. This is the CBC. This is the BBC. No. We see what you're doing. We see exactly what you're doing. You're doing narrative repair. You're reminding everybody that, no, it's the Republicans or it's the conservatives that you have to worry about. Don't forget. They're the ones. We keep telling you that. We've been telling you this for years, every single day. Don't forget. Don't forget to be afraid of the people that are getting murdered. TV came with a whole living room set. There's the box. I mean, I don't know. When I was a young bachelor, even I didn't have it this bad. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. Let's see. Truth from Planet of Memes. For those who like to refer to Charlie Kirk as a fascist, just so you know, assassinating people who think differently than you is peak fascism. They don't know what a fascist is. If they knew what a fascist is, they wouldn't be able to look in the mirror in the morning. Do they believe it? It's just convenience, right? They can be evil if they use that magic incantation. He's a fascist. Yeah, it's not working anymore. The spell is broken. It's insane how so many people need zero proof to believe a lie, but need endless proof in order to accept the truth. right now, there are so many lies about Charlie Kirk, right? And they're putting out like fake videos, misleadingly edited videos, or just telling outright lies. Really, it should take one actual video, unedited, fully in context, to convince any of the lunatics that Charlie Kirk was not a fascist, unless just disagreeing with them at all is a fascist, right? Now, many of them will just any disagreement makes you a fascist on anything. You'd have to think there are some that would see a video, right, of him being compassionate and not being this fascist and hating everybody. But the vast majority of them will never see it because they don't want the truth. So in order to accept the truth, you've got to want it, and they don't. Saying shut up before skipping the YouTube ad is necessary. I say it like this. I go, shut up. That's how I do it. Just wait till I can skip. A rash of Trump hate may lead to, what's this? Syphilis. Oh, no. He's got syphilis. Oh, dear. Ugh, yuck. All right. Well, I guess that does it for the memes. Maybe we'll get back to the chat for a little bit. What are we, 2 hours in? Rosie says that gun bans one is so ridiculous and true. Yeah. So the chat, as usual, has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Oh, here we go. Rosie says, destroyed evidence, hid in a garage. Who knows? Well, that's it. You really don't know. I mean, the Biden regime was, it has to have been the most corrupt regime in history. Now you guys are talking about losing weight. That's not what the show's about, but you guys can talk about it, though. That's cool. Let's see. Yeah, cutting out the soda is a really good idea. That stuff's just poison. Now I'm getting into it. Now I'm getting into the health chat. Jeez. Let's see. All right, let's move it. Let's move on. Where are we next? So we just did memes. Canada immigration. So Canada's full. I don't know if you guys know this. Canada is full. We've had the highest per capita immigration in the world. We've massively increased the population of this country over the last 10 years. And apparently with no forethought to just basic logistics, like how many houses are there? How many apartments are there? How many schools? How many hospital beds per thousand? How many nurses per thousand? Doctors, etc. How many police officers? Apparently nobody thought about any of this or any of the consequences or the inflation or the effects on healthcare or the crumbling infrastructure. Apparently nobody thought. It was just a mad rush to get as many people in as possible. And guess what? We're full. We're bursting at the seams. We can't take any more people. It should be stopping right now. Of course it's not, because we've got a liberal government with Mark Carney in power. And what's going on? We've got Bill C-3. What's that? Bill C-3 amends the Citizenship Act by removing the first-generation limit, allowing Canadian citizens born abroad to pass citizenship to their foreign-born children beyond the first generation. Really? We're full to the brim. We can't, it's not about racism. It's just numbers. It's just logistics. We can't take any more people. Forget about the cultural stuff, everything else. The Liberals want to give away more than 100,000 citizenships to people who have never lived here, with no criminal check, no language tests, no citizenship exam. I guess so they can fly here if they get really sick or they want to have a baby or something and then go back home again. Let's take a look.
Resuming debate. Reprise de débat. The member for Kitchener South Hespeler.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My speech today is not merely about Bill C-3, an act to amend the Citizenship Act. It is, like my last speech, about Canadian values, and more particularly the Canadian value that I fear this bill undermines, the value of Canadian citizenship.
Well, let's not forget, the Liberal Party is not liberal. It's far radical, progressive left. Right. So, of course, these are globalists. They don't, and largely Marxists as well. They don't care. They don't even believe in countries. We were told by the Liberal government of Canada that we're the first post-national country, whatever that is. No core identity. We're not even a legitimate state anyway, because apparently there's some continuing genocide happening here. So they don't, citizenship means nothing to them. It means nothing to be Canadian, right? People are just numbers on a spreadsheet. So I don't think this will stick, unfortunately.
I have previously described to this House that my mother came to Canada as a refugee from Yugoslavia. The freedom and opportunity that this country gave her, and by inheritance to me, are of immeasurable value. This value cannot be expressed in dollars and cents. It cannot be expressed in mere words. It can only be expressed in lifetimes. We express our gratitude for the freedom and opportunity conferred by Canadian citizenship through a lifetime of service to Canada. Every time a Canadian builds a house, or plants a tree, or coaches hockey, soccer, or cricket, they are serving this nation. Anytime a Canadian teacher leads a class or a Canadian nurse changes a dressing in the hospital, they are serving the nation. When you do your job, pay your taxes, follow our laws, learn our languages, shovel your neighbor's sidewalk, and vote in our elections, you are serving the nation. When police officers catch a bad guy, they serve our nation. When a social worker or minister consoles the victims, they serve the nation. And most importantly, those who join the armed forces serve the nation, not just in their life, but sometimes in their death. And their service is sacred. Mr. Speaker, all of that service, born out of gratitude, builds Canada and builds the value of Canadian citizenship. Canada is strong and free in so much as Canadians work to make it strong and free. Canadian citizenship is not a trinket, a bauble, or a collector's item to be put on a shelf, kept in its package, or sold on eBay at a profit. It is a sacred bond between those who built Canada before us and those who will inherit it after us. If we do well, if we all work our whole lives to make Canada better, perhaps we can pass it on as strong and as free as it was passed on to us. Perhaps our children will enjoy all of the peace and prosperity that we in this House did.
Well, I will just say, obviously, after a decade, I think that we can conclude that Liberals aren't interested in any of this. They don't want to do that. They don't want to pass on a prosperous country or a nice country to their children if they have them. They don't care. They're not worried about people being able to pass on, the prosperity and freedom, actually, of Canada to their children. They're trying to undermine this every second. I mean, it's literally everything that they do at this point. I mean, we have a decade of it, right? Like, there's a record here, right? We know what's happening. And this will all fall on deaf ears because, again, they're, it's radical progressives. It's a Liberal Party is a radical progressive party now. They don't care about any of this. They don't believe in nations. They don't believe in citizenship. I think just jamming in as many people to artificially inflate GDP is probably the most they think about it. So, yeah, unfortunately, it's good that we have somebody saying this. But, the Liberals aren't going to listen. We just have to get rid of them in the next election. We just have to. Otherwise, maybe it's time to think about, I don't know, where can you escape to from the dystopian Canadian experience? Let's see. Brian Lilly posted this. So the Conservatives are going to go hard on immigration, and it makes perfect sense because it's a problem that's affecting every aspect of Canadian life at this point. It's affecting people's ability just to get a job and pay the bills. It's suppressing wages. It's creating huge lineups for healthcare. It's the inflation, food inflation in housing is something that Canadians have never seen before. It's madness. People can't afford to find a place to live anymore. You have so many young people living with their parents into their 30s now because they can't afford just to rent an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment. So it affects literally everything. It affects housing, it affects inflation, it affects policing, it affects crime, healthcare, everything. Just traffic, it affects. So they're going to keep hitting hard on this, and the liberals will just keep equivocating and redirecting. The liberals will keep equivocating and redirecting because they don't care.
The Prime Minister promised to grow the economy, but it's shrinking. And since he took office, tens of thousands of jobs have been lost. But the Liberals are on track this year to bring in the most temporary foreign work permits ever. It's so bad that a former Liberal immigration minister just said that they admitted that they let industry become, quote, addicted to temporary work. And he's right. Amid the PM's pledge to cut the public service, even the Liberals are using TFWs to fill federal government jobs. We've talked about buying Canadian. Why isn't the Prime Minister making people hire them?
Hear, hear.
The Liberals themselves are using temporary foreign workers? I hadn't heard that one yet. I mean, that's just the ultimate insult, is it not? I mean, insult to the Canadian people, of course.
Minister of Jobs and Families.
Mr. Speaker, temporary foreign worker use is down by 70% in this country. Less than 1% of our workforce is temporary foreign workers. And in fact, in Canada, Canadians come first for any available jobs. That's why the department has rigid rules for employers that are looking to fill vacancies with workers from other countries. And Mr. Speaker—
Yeah, that's why young Canadians are sending out hundreds of resumes without even hearing back, because of the stringent rules about having to hire Canadians first. Sure.
If employers are abusing the program, they receive serious penalties, including banning from the use of this program.
The honourable member for Richmond Hill South.
Only a Liberal Prime Minister could promise to secure our border and fail in just 6 months. Over the summer, asylum claims from illegal U.S. crossings spiked dramatically, piling onto a staggering backlog of nearly 300,000 unprocessed claims. Many of these are likely bogus, yet claimants are immediately entitled to work permits, healthcare, and benefits on the backs of Canadian taxpayers. Another broken Liberal promise, another bait and switch, because he's just another Liberal Prime Minister. How much longer is the Prime Minister going to keep our border open and let it become a backdoor, unplanned stream of economic migration before he finally takes action? Great.
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Well, the answer is till the end of time. So I could answer that.
Oh, cool.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. While the opposition is concentrating on, making assumptions and speaking about things that are not there, let me tell you that with the asylum system, our numbers are down 40%. We've also introduced Bill C-2, which will strengthen our border. And this legislation is in front of the House. We campaigned for, and Canadians have gave us a mandate, so did Conservatives, and we hope that the Conservatives will help us pass
The Honourable Member for Abbotsford South Langley.
Canada's immigration system and broke that promise. Up to 500,000 people have overstayed their visas in Canada. Teens can't find work, healthcare is overwhelmed, housing is out of reach, and crime rates are soaring because of the Liberals' reckless policies. The Liberals continue to maintain high levels of immigration and won't even remove those who are non-citizen criminals convicted of serious crimes. The Liberals have had all summer to find these non-citizen criminals and remove them. Why didn't they?
The Honourable Minister of Citizenship and Immigration.
Mr. Speaker, I know Canadians are concerned. Our government has been working tirelessly, and we understand that we need to see a return to sustainable immigration levels that fits our capacity and that serves.
Except they're not, right? Except they're not. 1% of the population, she says, right? It's millions of people, and it's not 1% of the working population of Canada. Yes, 1% of the total population. The babies aren't working. The retirees aren't working, right? So, the ninth graders aren't working. No, it's millions of people, and it ain't 1% of the working population. I'll tell you that much. They just keep lying over and over and over again, and they will forever. They will until the country has been burnt to the ground. All right. Yeah, take a quick look at this chart. It's official government numbers. It says 3.1 million people entered Canada in 2024 as a result of the temporary foreign worker program, the SP, the study permit, and they can also work as well 24 hours per week, and the international mobility program, which is actually the biggest part. International mobility program, that's the red line here. And for these jobs, you do not need to try and find a Canadian for that job first. So they just gaslight and lie over and over and over again. They don't care. They don't care about the country. Who do they care about? Well, it's not Canadians. It's certainly not who Mark Carney cares about. Let's move on. We already did that. Unhinged Antifa Karen bangs her drum to drown out a dude singing "All You Need Is Love" in a park. Oh my God. The far left has a serious mental illness problem. I think this was a Canada First protest, and they just show up. The loonies show up. Of course they do. And they know nothing else other than this. They don't have a debate. I mean, has it ever been more evident than now? They don't have an argument. They don't want to debate. They just want to win. And you've got these nut bars, these just life's losers who have nothing else. What, so she's just got a bongo there? By the way, bongo, bongo, along with the didgeridoo, is the lowest form of music. So, let's see.
This is an example of a mentally ill person who can't handle the sound of love. Let's try that this way.
This is the only way this person can ever feel any power, ever feel like they're affecting anything, to go and just make a racket and say, nobody can hear you in a park. Like, this is the highlight of this person's life, right? This is the most heroic moment in her story. Standing in a park in front of a guy trying to play a Beatles song, "All You Need Is Love," and going, banging a bongo and saying, nobody can hear you. This is the peak. This is peak heroism for this person. This is the best it will ever get. This is the most effective this person will ever be. And the irony, he's singing "All You Need Is Love." Are they sure that they're the empathy people, that they're the compassion people? Are they sure? Because it doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it from that awful, ungodly cacophony coming from her. It just, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like chaos and decline and dysfunction. That's what it sounds like, which is all these people have to offer. Anyway, unhinged Antifa Karen. If it makes you feel important. What do people say underneath here? From T-Rex Tech-Mech, the left, I need to drown out this song of tolerance. The left, I need to drown out this song of tolerance, of course. What's her win? I don't get it. Nobody does. Her fatty arms can last 2 minutes banging that thing. From Liberal Hive Mind. We're going to need a bigger mental hospital. Bigger, best mental hospital indeed. Nice. All right. Let's see. Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom, the Alberta Court of Appeal will soon decide if universities can cancel events over alleged psychological harm, a case that could set a precedent for how far charter freedoms of expression and assembly really go. Well, we know after the lockdowns and the Freedom Convoy, they don't go very far at all. Constitutional lawyer Glenn Blackett said safe space provisions are a serious threat to charter freedoms. Employers who don't censor unsafe speech are liable to be fined or even jailed. This isn't just the government censoring speech, it is the government requiring citizens to censor one another. Universities in Canada get federal money, which means they can't do this. Somebody wants to set up their own private university, okay, do whatever you want. If you're getting public money, this should not be allowed, because you're getting money from people who you are going to be censoring unfairly. Psychological harm. What do you think that means? That means no saying, well, are they going to do a dig at that residential school to find out if these claims are true or not? You better believe that's going to be psychological harm. Or, well, are we sure are we sure that biology isn't real? You can be certain that's going to be psychological harm. In fact, probably, hey, you probably shouldn't murder people just because you disagree with them. That'll be psychological harm as well. Canada. What happened? What happened to this once beautiful post-national country with no core identity, according to the Liberals? All right, let's keep going. What's going on? So Pam Bondi. All right, so Matt Walsh says, get rid of her today. Well, what is she saying? Let's take a look.
That's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that. And employers, you have an obligation to get rid of people. You need to look at people who are saying horrible things, and they shouldn't be working with you. Businesses cannot discriminate. If you want to go in and print posters with Charlie's pictures on them for a vigil, you have to let them do that. We can prosecute you for that. I have Harmeet Dillon right now in our civil rights unit looking at that immediately, that Office Depot had done that. We're looking at that. But Sean, that's horrific. It's free speech, but you shouldn't be employed anywhere if you're going to say that.
Well, if you're not willing to do your job, right, they should be able to fire you. I'm not sure that a business should be forced to do it, though, is the only thing. I think if the business requires you to do it, if you don't do it for political or any reason, just any reason, they should be able to fire you. I'm not sure that they should be forced, a business should be forced to do it, though. Let's see. Matt Walsh, get rid of her today. This is insane. Conservatives have fought for decades for the right to refuse service to anyone. We won that fight. Now Pam Bondi wants to roll it all back for no reason. The employee who didn't print the flyer was already fired by his employer. This stuff is being handled successfully through free speech and free markets. This is totally gratuitous and pointless. We need the AG focused on bringing down the left-wing terror cells, not prosecuting Office Depot, for God's sakes. Yeah, I agree with them. And what was the other thing that she said? Where was that? Hold on. I had it. Where did I have it? Here. All right. Attorney General Pam Bondi. There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. See, I don't like the whole hate speech thing. Now, when somebody is advocating for violence, assassinations, that's something else. But hate speech, especially as a term, has been abused. It can be used so broadly that it could just mean literally anything. That's how it's used in Canada. I think she's really off base on this.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is...
Well, in the United States, First Amendment says that hate speech is free speech. So just outright. So how does she not know that? Houston, we got a problem.
No place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything. And that's across the aisle. There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is.
Yeah, this is a bad take. You know, telling somebody to do something violent, to shoot somebody, attack somebody, something like that. That's a different thing. Hate speech, though, is free speech in the United States. You know, under the First Amendment, it's free speech. So she should know that. It's bad take. Eigen Robot says, "Oh no, baby, what you doing? What is you doing?" Yeah, not good. Yeah, that's concerning, I have to say. Yeah, Rob Schneider says, Pam Bondi is wrong on this one. If free speech means anything, it's the freedom to say things that other people may loathe. Outside of the incitement to violence, free speech is all speech. We're either all for all of it or none of it. Yes, I mean, like, celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk should not be prosecutable. Of course, a business should be able to fire somebody. They don't want somebody like that representing them. And those people have said they don't want to participate in civilized society, but it's not prosecutable. Now, if you're inciting violence, that's a different matter. Let's see. Andrew Colvett says, I'm grateful for A.G. Bondi's heart to bring justice and to ensure Charlie's death results in something lasting, but Charlie didn't believe in hate speech. The freedom of speech exists exactly to protect unpopular speech. That's right. Now, we have to say again, incitement to violence is different. But just saying loathsome things is not. Now, of course, like a university should be able to say, look, we can't obviously people paying thousands of dollars to come here may not be comfortable sitting in a classroom with a professor who'd be glad if they were killed, right? So it makes sense. Like, you know, any business would say, no, this doesn't represent our values. That's all fine too. In fact, it's good. But yeah, I think here's Charlie Kirk. Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free. Yes. So I think she's just, it's a rather confused take she's got there. So anyway, we'll move on from that. I do want to get into Travis Donraj quickly. And hold on. Let me find the original thing here. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Where is the post that I want? Sorry, you guys. Just bear with me. I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. All right, hold on a second. Let's get back to the chat for a second. What do we got? There we go. All right. What are you talking about? Pam Bondi's hair? She needs to dye her roots. Who are we talking about? Let's see. JJ Nevada says, I hate Pam. Hate it. Hate her. It sounds like she may need to be replaced. McCross says, hate speech is a bullshit safety to drag down someone you just don't like. Yes. Plus, I don't think anyone has the right to tell me who I'm not allowed to hate. Well, yeah, I mean, hate is it's a right. You're allowed to not like people. Let's see. Hold on a second here. Did I miss some stuff here? Hold on. Oh, wow. Okay. Let me scooch back a little bit and see if I got something else. I think we've got some best person ever stuff coming up here. All right. Well, look at this, Rosie. Look at this. Guess what? Rosie gifted a subscription to, who did you gift it to? Who got it? Doesn't say, but thank you, Rosie, very much. I mean, that's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. Rosie, best person ever. Everybody else, aside from Charlie Kirk, is terrible aside from Rosie in all of history. There we go. Yeah, everybody else is terrible except for Rosie. I forget to say that. Best person ever. It's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. Thank you, Rosie. Awesome. And I think there's another one down here too. Let's see. And Dramus gifted one too. Good news. Guess what? Dramus gifted a subscription to Radio Baloney. I don't know who, it doesn't say who got it. Gifted a membership. Dramus was gifted a membership by Rosie. And then, hold on. And then, now I'm totally confused. And then Jack was gifted a membership by Dramus. Jeez, Dramus Steves, best person ever. Best person ever. Everybody else, garbage compared to Dramus. Garbage. I don't care. Except for Charlie Kirk, where he's staying with best person ever for this time. But everybody else, garbage compared to Travis. Best person ever. Congratulations, sir. And all for less than the cost of a brand new Tesla Cybertruck. I mean, what a deal. But thank you very much. And it's the best thing anybody can do for my channel. I really do appreciate it enormously. So thank you for that. All right. McCross says Pam Bondi is very steadily making it on my not like radar. I hated the hate crime shit from the time it was created. It was clearly made to target one sect of the population. Yeah, she's not on the she's not on the trolley with that one, I gotta say. Let's see. Nevada says, I wish Trump would fire her when he gets back. I think she might be going somewhere. I don't know. Let's see. Rosie says, we found out last night that gifted subs can join premium streams too. It's true. If you try and get on and it won't let you, that means that the gifted sub is expired. So you'll either have to become a channel member on your own, or somebody else will have to gift you one. But you can watch these streams, not all the premium streams on Rumble from all the other channels, just my channel, which is all you need. All right, let's get back to it. Where were we? All right, so former host Travis Donraj launches human rights complaint against CBC, accusing it of performative diversity. So this is a story. He's not the first one. From the National Post, Donraj was consistently met with resistance at every point and a toxic work environment in which harassment, bullying, and retaliation went unchecked, the complaint alleges. Former host Travis Donraj launches human rights complaint against CBC, accusing it of performative diversity. The CBC doing performative diversity. Well, they're doing performative news. His allegations were as well, that they wouldn't let him have the people that he wanted on if they were conservative. I mean, that's not surprising from a propaganda outlet. Let's see, more explosive information coming out about the CBC lawyer Catherine Marshall. Actually, before we get there, I want to check something else out here. Hold on a second. I just got to find, I thought I had it in here, but I guess I don't. So I'm just going to look it up quickly. Hold on. I'll be right back. There we go. Here we go. Where is the tweet? Here we go. So he quit months ago, but the CBC does not want to let Travis Donraj go. They keep insisting that he's still working for the CBC, obviously because they feel that this will tie his hands and muzzle him, and there are certain things he won't be able to say for legal reasons, for contractual reasons. That's obvious. He says this. Now, again, this has been going on for months now, but September 13th, he said, "Hey, CBC News, just popping on here to say this as clearly as I can. Stop trying to be a controlling ex." Oh boy. "I know you are dismayed, but we've broken up. I have Canada as my witness. You don't get to dictate who I talk to or what I say anymore. And I've got a lot to say." Yeah, so additionally, Kelly said that Donraj remains a unionized employee who is on leave. This is what they're insisting, that he's still employed with them and he's on leave. And again, this is to muzzle him. This is to shut him up. And I'm very much looking forward to the lawsuit and finding out what is going on there exactly. And here we go. He's not, let's actually hear from, this is from, actually, hold on. Let's go back here for a second. This is from July 31st, Northern Perspective. So this is his lawyer here.
Current CBC employees are reaching out to you since Travis came forward. In general, what are they telling you?
I've heard about the crying room.
The crying room.
Yep.
The crying room at the CBC. They didn't tell us about that. They didn't do a special report on that one.
What's the crying room? Okay, what was your reaction when you heard that? Because I'm hearing this for the first time and my mind is...
I'm actually not surprised that the CBC has a crying room. A crying room. Let's see. How about this one? Let's check this one out. Here's his lawyer again. We'll just watch the beginning here.
Okay, so walk us through this story. You are representing Travis. Tell us about what his claims are and what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really explosive case. Look, Travis has been dealing with the CBC for a long time. I mean, he's been an employee for years, but over time, he experienced a lot of discrimination. He was dissuaded from bringing conservative voices onto the show that they gave him. And
but they tell us that they're fair and unbiased and that they serve all Canadians. But they don't like real conservative voices on there, apparently. I mean, I guess they try and pass off Andrew Coyne, who is the most Trump deranged lunatic I've ever seen. Yeah, they get $1.4 billion a year for this. It's pathetic. The holier than thou CBC. Yeah. And by the way, he's not the first. There have been others. Hold on. Where is it? There we go. So, yeah, there have been others before. He's not the first. Here we have very honest testimony from a former CBC reporter. "We betrayed the public. We pushed propaganda." Propaganda, you say? Propaganda for all Canadians, I'm sure. All Canadians. Former reporter of the CBC exposed the CBC. Let's see, who else do we have here? Hold on. Watch ex-CBC producer Danya Zai cheerily spills the tea on how Canada's public broadcaster caved to immense pressure from radical Black Lives Matter activists who are burning cities to the ground and abandoning objective and neutral reporting. Now, she's in favor of it, right? So she's in favor of this. Sounds like not unbiased and objective to me.
And I really want to echo what Kamyar said about the importance of that Overton window shifting and how it translates to change in these newsrooms. I think institutions like the CBC really do respond to public pressure, to shaming, and also to the strength of social movements on the ground. And so when these movements are strong, the journalists and editors inside also feel emboldened to reflect that popular sentiment and also to push their superiors, to push their newsrooms to do better. And we've seen this before. I mean, I was there.
So she's very excited that the CBC is influenced by activists into becoming activists and not being objective and unbiased. She's thrilled about it. But that's another look inside the CBC there. Former CBC reporters detail how the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation went from a news organization to the propaganda arm of the government. What's going on here? Let's take a peek. Oh.
I started noticing that something very different was happening at the CBC.
Who were we to deliberately withhold information the public needed to know and had a right to know in order to make a decision based on informed consent about their health?
They took an exceptional moment to decide that they would not be journalists, that they would instead be public health messengers. And the result is that Canada's national broadcaster has morphed into a state broadcaster. It's promoting government policy without question, while censoring, belittling, and shaming learned Canadians who dare to object and attempt to inform us of the truth.
So, who is this again? Rodney Palmer and Marianne Klawak, May 18th, 2023, Ottawa, Ontario. Former CBC reporters detail how the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation went from a news organization to the propaganda arm of the government. So this is how the, I guess, vegan sausage is made when you're talking about Canadian state-funded propaganda. So again, I am very much looking forward. I am very much looking forward to the I am very much looking forward to Travis Donraj's case getting into a court and finding out exactly what he has to say, and him really spilling the beans, not just about the crying room or about the bias against having conservative guests, or I guess guests who are actual conservatives and not just being passed off as that, which is pretty much everybody they have on. So I'm very much looking forward. I am very much looking forward to seeing how this develops. All right. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me tonight while I'm struggling. I'm not drinking. You guys know I don't drink. Sometimes, though, just the brain, you know how the brain is. Sometimes the brain doesn't work as well. And I'm a little low energy, even though I've had my coffee and my polar bear adrenaline glands. What do we have here? So, in the far left extremism bookmark, Vigilant Fox posted this. Andy No drops the horrifying truth about what we're really up against when it comes to left-wing violence. Now, Andy No has been in the thick of it for a long time. as a journalist writing about and exposing Antifa extremism and violence. He's been attacked by them. He's been grievously wounded by them in the past. He knows exactly how dangerous and fanatical they are, these revolutionary communists. These essentially, they're Stalinists. Let's hear what he has to say. Here's his warning.
What needs to be done is their propaganda and lies has to be exposed. I hope that it's been eye-opening for the public to see the bloodlust that exists, not just on the fringe left, obviously, but also on the mainstream left in the aftermath of this assassination. It is a cancer that exists on the left, and it's mainstream, and there's some data to back that up. Just overnight, a mural for Charlie Kirk in Pensacola, Florida, was vandalized with Antifa propaganda on it, and some of the messages that left on it were the exact messages from what was engraved on the rifle cartridges that were used in the attack. So this is the mindset we're dealing with. It is, I will call it a death cult. They worship death. They want their targets killed, and they've been supported by a huge apparatus. I'm not just talking about the Black Bloc militants who are on the streets as acting as thugs, carrying out arson attacks and assaulting people. I'm talking about politicians who spread their propaganda and lies, NGOs, nonprofit groups, elected officials, and many in the Democrat Party, and of course many journalists. We've seen many disgusting lies spread in the last few days in liberal media suggesting somehow that this accused gunman was a far-right Christian nationalist inspired by MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, Antifa has been largely mainstreamed, actually. We remember, cable news hosts on CNN and MSNBC defending Antifa, say, well, it's anti-fascist, so that's good. We don't like fascists, right? Yet just completely ignore the fact that they're the ones who act like brown shirts. Like, okay, I mean, the interesting thing is, apparently you can just call anybody a fascist, and that's good enough for CNN or MSNBC. You can just pretend, and that's fine, right? I don't know. Being a revolutionary communist is a bad thing too, right? Which is what they are. In fact, let me see if I can find. Hold on. Let me see if I can find very quickly here. If there's any clips that just pop up quickly. I don't want to spend a ton of time looking for this, but hold on. Sometimes things come up awfully quick. Let's see. Hold on. I don't think anything's going to come up quick. I know there's clips of I think Don Lemon and others just being totally stupid and misinformed or just lying about it. All right, I can't find, nothing pops up, and I don't want to spend a ton of time doing that and we'll just waste everybody's time, right? Where were we? All right. So we're back to that. But yeah, it's mainstreamed at this point, right? For stupid people that just hear anti-fascist, they'll just take it no further and don't go, well, they seem to be awfully violent and fascistic themselves. They seem to act exactly like the people that they are claimed to be fighting against. Yes, because for one thing, fascism is a left-wing ideology, just like their revolutionary communism. And revolutionary communists, also bad, also terrible people. That's why they're so violent, because because of what they are. All right. Anyway, let's keep going. Brampton West MP Amarjeet Gill shares crazy crime numbers from Brampton. Violent crime up 55%, criminal gun crime up 130%, hate crimes up 258%, extortion up 350%. Now, this is also, I believe, a majority non-Canadian community as well. So let's see what he has to say.
The honourable member for Brampton West.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister promised to fix the broken bail system, but he left for summer vacation without delivering, and he returns to the Parliament still empty-handed. Let me share with you how bad the crime waves are in Brampton and across Canada. Violent crime up 55%, gun crime up 130%, hate crimes are up 258%, extortions up 350%, and overdoses are tearing through our neighborhoods. In Brampton, a home invasion resulted in the death of a young Canadian. This is becoming the norm in Canada. Mr. Speaker, Canadians deserve a justice system that protects Canadians. It's time to put victims ahead of criminals, and let's put repeat violent offenders in jail, not bail. Mr. Speaker, Canadians expect safer streets and neighborhoods, not more liberal delays and excuses. It's time for action. It's time for change. I urge Prime Minister to put political games aside and protect Canadians from these everyday crimes.
I have to wonder what percentage of the people committing the crimes aren't Canadian citizens. What percentage of the people came here in, the last, few years, 3-4 years? I have to wonder about that. Let's see. Let's move on. What do we got here? So here's Pierre Poilievre back in a place that he's very comfortable, which is Parliament. And Poilievre torches the Liberals in the House. He's very good at this. I think this is like what he lives for. He's excellent at it. Let's hear him work.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister mentioned how much had changed, and it's true. I look around this place, and when I left, there was a Liberal Prime Minister who was making excuses about breaking promises, running massive deficits, costs, crime, chaos were all out of control. And whereas today, we have a Liberal Prime Minister breaking promises, making excuses, running massive deficits with costs, crime, and chaos out of control. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister...
See, he's very good at it. And this is what the CBC calls divisive, by the way. He's a leader of the opposition. He's supposed to do this, and he's doing it in good humor. But they'll never stop their line that he's divisive. Trudeau wasn't divisive when he said...
small fringe minority.
When he said, will we tolerate these people? Apparently, he was never divisive. When he went, Maple MAGA, he was never divisive. When he enacted the basically the War Measures Act, the Emergencies Act, Canada, that apparently wasn't divisive either. Mark Carney's not divisive when he says that Pierre Poilievre will kneel before Trump, and then just lies that Pierre Poilievre is going to ban abortion. Not divisive. This is what they consider divisive, because it's just an angle that they take. Right? They don't want him to win because, for one thing, he won't fund them. The CBC, he'll defund the CBC. Secondly, he's conservative, and they're not. So they see themselves as his ideological opponent. All right. Here he is again with his greatest hits. Pierre Poilievre roasts Mark Carney. Justin Trudeau was a warm-up crisis. Now we have a crisis man. All right. CBC is not going to like this at all. They're going to be really mad at him for this. They're going to be really mad at him for this. Let's take a look.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister mentioned how much had changed, and it's true. I look around this place, and when I left, there was a Liberal Prime Minister who was making excuses about breaking.
All right, so this is the same as the other video, but it's longer, so we'll just watch it through again.
Promises, running massive deficits, costs, crime, chaos were all out of control, and whereas today, we have a Liberal Prime Minister breaking promises, making excuses, running massive deficits with costs, crime, and chaos out of control. Mr. Speaker, when will the Prime Minister match the grand promises with the real change Canadians need?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the minister, or the minister, promotion. Come on over. I understand the leader of the opposition was busy. He missed the largest tax cut for 22 million Canadians. He missed the cut on the GI.
Yeah, it's like $40 a year. Largest tax cut. No, so I think it's $40. It might be as high as $40 a month. You can see he's not very good at this. I expect Mark Carney to miss as much of Parliament as possible, to make as many excuses to not be there as possible. I don't think he likes it. He's not good at it. And I expect him to basically chicken out as much as he can.
For new homes. He missed eliminating all federal barriers to trade. He missed. I hope I'll have another opportunity to finish a very long list of what the leader.
He hasn't eliminated all internal barriers to trade. We still got the dairy cartel. What's he talking about?
Opposition.
The honorable leader of the.
All right. Yeah, I expect Carney to try and miss as much of Parliament as possible. All right, I think we saw this one last time. All right, let's move on. What do we got now? House of Commons is finally back, so the Canadian government is working again. Out of 258 days in 2025, they've worked 20. That's 7.7% of the year. Canada's dysfunctional, folks. A sitting MP salary, $209,000 per year, $10,500 per day for 20 days of work. This year, our MPs made more money than the average NHL players. Are they worth the cost? Well, I would say no at this point. But, I mean, it's Carney, right? Pierre Poilievre said that if he won, nobody was going for summer break until they had serious work done. Or at all. Mark Carney, after telling us it's literally the greatest crisis in Canadian history. We're facing the greatest crisis ever, and it's apocalypse, and the whole world is ending, then sent everybody on vacation, including himself. I think it was because, for one, he did not want to supply a budget because he knows that's not going to go over well when people find out what he's cooking up. But also, too, I think he wanted to work behind the scenes. On his net zero globalist fantasies that are going to bankrupt the country. I think he wants to avoid accountability. I think he wants to hide as much of his plans, his real plans, from the Canadian people as possible. And I think that explains it. If he'd really believed that it was the greatest crisis in history, he would have been like Pierre Poilievre and said, yeah, nobody's going home till we get things sorted. Can't believe people voted for that. I just can't believe it. All right. Pierre Poilievre says he's been in office for 6 months, and all Prime Minister Carney has done is set up an entirely new bureaucracy to approve projects that have already been approved, and in some cases started. Yeah, it's all his real plans for maxing out the national credit card before he leaves Canada holding the bag. That's all going on behind the scenes. That's what it's all about. All right, what's going on here? Apparently, Canada's state-run media is getting their information about Charlie Kirk from disgraced Manitoba MLAs and deleted Stephen King posts. The Canadian media, the CBC, went into immediate narrative repair mode. They immediately, I'm sure they had a meeting and said, hold on, the narrative's getting out of hand. People are starting to wonder if the left is actually violent. You know, considering we see the mobs, constantly the mobs around we see the mobs constantly with their terrorist flags in Canada, blocking streets, constantly marching, screaming, death to Canada, death to Israel, death to the United States. There's an awful lot of anti-Semitic things that have happened in Canada since this all started. Coincidentally, I don't think it's Poilievre supporters shooting at Jewish girls' schools right? Or like harassing Jewish bakeries. I'm pretty sure it's not Poilievre supporters. So, this is getting out of hand, right? This is getting out of hand. People might start thinking, well, maybe the left are the violent ones. They can't have that. They right away wanted to get people back on track, scared of conservatives again. Let's take a listen to this.
Propagate hatred against some people or communities. And, if you think about some of what Charlie Kirk had to say, he did have hateful things to say about groups of people, and he did encourage even violence against groups of people.
Look, you googly-eyed weirdo. No, he didn't. You're lying. You're lying. Is that just what your teleprompter is telling you to say? Do you just not know? Do you have no idea? If it was me that was up on the screen on the nightly news, on the CBC, on CBC Live, and I knew like a lot of people are going to be watching, right? I think I would do some research like I do for this show to find out, is that actually true? Is he actually hateful? I would watch some clips. It would not take you long to discover, oh, this guy isn't what anonymous Twitter accounts are saying he is. Of course not. I mean, you think just that it's just not to embarrass yourself, just some concern that like for your own dignity, for people considering you to have some integrity, for instance, be a trusted voice, somebody they can trust on TV. Nope, don't care. Got to get the narrative back on track again.
Propagate hatred against some people or communities. And, if you think about some of what Charlie Kirk had to say, he did have hateful.
You're just like, he almost seems like he doesn't want to say it, doesn't he? Almost seems like he doesn't want to say it. Maybe he did do some research and realizes that it's not, but these are his marching orders. Hey, teleprompter's telling him to say that, right? And you say what teleprompter wants you to say. Just grotesque. Just grotesque. Mark Nixon, apparently CBC's job is to twist reality until Canadians can't tell up from down. Yes, they're not hiding it. Let's take a peek here.
Nation itself, which sadly is part of a long American tradition. Even more disturbing is the calls for vengeance by the President of the United States himself, Donald Trump, and by supporters on the right, fear on the left. My great fear is that this could lead to an acceleration of acts of violence between members of this incredibly polarized political community. Frankly, a political community that Canada needs to start to draw away from. The United States is just too toxic, too dangerous right now. I have long advocated that we needed a more open border, but I am not advocating that anymore. I think, in fact, we.
Oh, why don't you show us on the doll where the candlelight vigils touched you, right? Yeah. Candlelight vigils. No looting, no violence. No setting buildings on fire, no besieging federal buildings, no setting cars on fire. None of that. No assault, none of that. I mean, we can see it. It's not, it's right there. It's obvious. But again, it's narrative maintenance, right? The narrative's getting out of hand. People might start thinking that, well, the left are the violent ones. The left are the violent ones. Can't have that. That's not the message. I mean, that might even help Pierre Poilievre get elected in Canada, and you can't have that. That would be terrifying. He's right wing. That's scary. Did you know that his tone is divisive? I mean, you wouldn't know that unless the CBC told you. But it's important that you know it. Very important that you know it. They wouldn't want you voting for the wrong party, a party that would defund them. Legacy media doesn't inform Canadians. It manipulates them. Turn it off, starve it, defund it. 100%. I could not agree more. All right. Was that it? Are we at the last tab? We are at the last tab. Beautiful. We're almost there, folks. We're 3 hours in. Holy macaroni. Now, I have to tell the people watching on YouTube right now, for Rumble, everything's the same. X, everything's all the same. Locals is all the same. YouTube, I've started a new channel. All of the U.S. news, all of the world news, the meme reviews, all of that will be going on Radio Baloney News. If you're watching right now, if you're watching this live stream, you're on the old channel, see 13,000 subscribers. That's it here. If you go to the homepage or type in Radio Baloney News, you'll see this. Please subscribe to that. The algorithm is not going to help me out at all. I'm really just relying on you guys helping me out here. But there's lots of great stuff here. Here's the last few videos. Mask off, Charlie Kirk assassination proves the left isn't hiding it anymore. Elon Musk talking about how, with the decline of religion, it's been replaced by left-wing cultism. Meme reviews, we go over memes. We've got Michael Schellenberger here talking about Charlie Kirk and how the media needs to stop dehumanizing. RICO charges possibly from Trump against George Soros. Those are the last 5 videos. That stuff's not on the channel you're watching now. That's not on the original channel. It's only going to be live streams and Canadian news from now on. Please go to Radio Baloney News. I'm going to have to keep doing these little interruptions until there's like 1,000 people on there. All right. Nevada says, YouTube sucks. I want Greenland. And we all want you to have Greenland, Nevada. We all do. I mean, here's Izzy. Someone get JJ Greenland already. Come on. Every stream. It's every stream. The regular viewers will know this. Every stream. JJ Nevada, I want Greenland. When can I have Greenland? And we say, I don't know. We'd give it to you if we could. We want you to have it. If I ever have the power to give Greenland to JJ Nevada, I'm giving it to him right away. I wouldn't even think about keeping it for myself. I don't even want it. He can have it. It's cold. Do you know what their special Christmas dinner is? It's a bird, like a decomposing bird wrapped in seal fat and then buried in the ground for 4 months and then dug up, and that's supposed to be your Christmas dinner? No Yorkshires, no nothing. No Brussels sprouts, decomposing bird. Disgusting. I'm not interested in Greenland. But JJ's obsessed. So I don't know. Maybe we can all do a prayer for JJ getting Greenland one day. I'd love to see him with Greenland. I would. Macross says, have you heard that Rumble has surpassed YouTube in downloads? Well, I know that they have surpassed in concurrent viewers for live streams, that they have the biggest live streams. I know that. Downloads, I'm not sure, but I doubt that because YouTube is so huge. But streaming is really the big thing on Rumble. Nevada says, I want 2 of those birds. Well, if you get Greenland, you can have as many of those disgusting decomposing birds as you want for Christmas dinner. Just fill it right up. Let's see. Nevada's eating a moon pie. Nice. They still sell those? Wow. Cross says, when Biden was in office, they could have vacations for a year. Wouldn't be any worse off. Let's see. All right. We're going to get through this, people. We're going to get through this. 3 hours and 10 minutes on Tuesday. That's quite a bit. And don't worry, even though I may have been a little bit low energy this evening, In fact, screw it. We're going there. We're going there right now. It's a tradition. It's a tradition. Let's go.
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
And teapot. There we go. That's it. That picked me up right there. Beautiful. The most beautiful kind of energy of all. I just think that they've got a terrible spokesperson there. I think they can do better. Let's see. That means now part of the negotiations on this channel about showing that clip, because not everybody loves it, is that after that we have to show chocolate something, and we're going to do it. because that's what I agreed to. That's the negotiations. That's what it came down to. So we're going to do it. And I'll find something really great here. Whoa. That's nice. Okay. This should satisfy everybody. That's a nice looking cake right there. Or are those brownies even? I don't know. But look at that. Strawberries, chocolate, fantastic stuff. Everybody loves it. All right. Let me just check and see one thing. I forgot to keep endlessly promoting the new YouTube channel. That's my fault. I needed to promote it like 20 times every single stream, even if it drives everybody crazy. Just the way it's got to be. Oh, well. All right, let's go. So a British man runs 26.2 miles dressed as Big Ben. That's like, what is it, like 40 kilometers? Dressed as Big Ben for the London Marathon, gets his costume stuck on the finish line, but eventually finishes the race. Okay. This is what we call a palate cleanser after all that news. Let's take a look. That's a very British thing to do. Let's see. What's this? Effective immediately, I've resigned from Wix ABC 20 after being suspended for airing a nonpartisan tribute to Charlie Kirk this past Friday. It's really unbelievable this could happen, but it shows you how far the mind virus has spread. It's really scary. It's not just, those guys dressed all in black that show up to every protest and throw bricks at people and things. No, it's apparently the newsrooms as well. Let's take a look.
Much for tuning into Marketplace today. So I want to talk about something for a minute, and it is heavy, so please bear with me. I want you to know that it's okay if you feel sadness. It's okay if you're grieving. 2 days ago, I lost a mentor, my first boss, the first person who made me believe in myself, that encouraged me to chase this dream that you're watching right now. Charlie Kirk. There's a lot going on in our world right now, in our country, but I want to say one thing. Lean on your neighbors. Speak up for what you believe in. I don't care what it is. I want to share with you one of my favorite sayings that Charlie would always tell us at the office. He would yell it from the mountaintops, so please listen. When conversations stop happening, when individuals become wordless, that's when violence begins. So, if you do one thing today, make it be with passion, with conviction. Stand up for your friends, stand up for your beliefs, and speak loudly, even if your voice shakes. Your words have meaning, your values have purpose. Never forget that. Thank you, CK. You changed my life.
So, yeah, they're everywhere. So she resigned after being suspended for airing that. I mean, quite touching, nonpartisan tribute there. Shows you the mind virus is everywhere. Everywhere. Let's see. This one, I don't want to get to right now. I think we'll save that until I have more energy. CNN actually tried to interview a farmer after Occupy Democrats shared his satire video, where he joked about not being able to sell his made-up crops because of Trump. He was literally effing around about imaginary vegetables, and they took the bait. So they tried to get an interview with him after they saw this satirical video. This is not an interview with CNN. This is a satirical video that they saw, believed it, just thought it was real, and wanted to get an interview with him.
We're just absolutely fucked as farmers, guys. Everything is so fucked, and I do not see anybody surviving this farm crisis that we're in. Guys, look, one of the best splorn crops that I have ever raised in my life. And because of the tariffs, China will not fucking buy it. And they are the only country in the world other than, well, they are the only country in the world that buys splorn. And so now I'm literally just chopping it and blowing it on the fucking ground because it's fucking
Splorn. CNN actually tried to interview this guy after they saw that. They really are that dumb, I guess. Wow. Let's see. Bill Maher goes off on left for refusal to engage in dialogue with people they disagree with after Charlie Kirk assassination. Is he coming around? Well, somebody in the chat last time said that he's an independent now. I don't know. It would make sense after he's been documenting their insanity, but still voting for it for some reason. But let's take a look.
That's why I love to have people like Charlie Kirk sit there as he did, because I'm not going to agree with most of what he says.
Yeah.
First of all, he was very Christy and all that.
Yeah.
I'm an atheist, but it's okay. He's a human being and not a dummy. And unless people get it through their thick fucking skulls, you're going to have to talk to people. Let me tell you something, Bill. We've had over 200 guests here sitting in that chair. I would guess at least a quarter of them say something that is full on bonkers, in my view.
Okay.
Like we didn't land on the moon.
Okay.
Shit like that.
Or
and maybe
I licked her back and...
Or that is the least crazy thing. You're not in that category.
Okay.
So far. I mean, I don't know.
Well, we got a few minutes.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. But if you start just dismissing people for anything other than just the most kind of egregious, I'm a Nazi and I'm proud of it. Although even Kanye has survived, and I'm not for canceling him either.
Mm-hmm.
He sat here once. We didn't air it because I would have been canceled. Or, I'm a cannibal, not like an Army Hammer cannibal who was not a cannibal, and he sat here, and I was happy to rehabilitate him. But an actual cannibal, unless it's something like so out there, you just got to get over yourself and talk to these people. And for all those assholes who are like, I can't believe you talked to Trump. Okay, I'm not even going to go into why that's such a stupid opinion, but just where does it end? All right, I can't talk to him. Who's next? People who voted for him? Can I not talk to Joe Rogan?
Right.
Can't even talk to him. What about Sylvester Stallone? He's such a great guy. Stallone, Rocky. Really? I can't talk to him? Fuck off with this bullshit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We got back onto that.
Well, yeah, they think you shouldn't talk to Joe Rogan or anybody else that they at least believe they don't like what they think that they think, right? Yes, of course, that's the rule, right? I mean, obviously, it's never been clearer than than when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Yes, that's their rule. You're not allowed to talk to those people, right? They've been led to believe that somebody thinks something that they have never thought or said, but it doesn't matter because a Twitter account said so. And yeah, you're not allowed to talk to them now. And whatever you do, don't try and find out for yourself. Otherwise, you can get infected with whatever the bad thing that they're making up is. I love these kinds of, I think all men love these videos of these dudes who go out into the woods and just build like a little cabin or something, or like this weird treehouse thing here, like a dugout in the ground. Just these like survive. It's like if the shit hits the fan, if the apocalypse comes, right? Somewhere in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, I know how to build something, or at least I vaguely remember how. I'll make it work because I watched that YouTube video. I'll survive. I'll build a little house up in a tree where nothing can get me. It's the, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? Every day, every damn day, multiple times. We are aware that things can fall apart. And what are you going to do? I think Spambot's going to be ready. I believe Spambot is going to be ready for the apocalypse. He's going to do fine. But yeah, I love these. They're just cool. I have sat and just watched for like 2 hours. Some guy just building something, some little structure to live in out in the woods. It's cool. It's awesome. And it may come in handy. Again, apocalypse. Apocalypse, people. All right. Democrats, after a long day crying about Trump. I can turn that off. There they are. Now they can finally relax after that long day crying about Trump. Finally. Let's see. Food for thought. We are not the same. What is this? Should we take a look at this? Huh. This is a Canadian down in the States. Let's take a look.
So I'm a Canadian in the US right now, and when Charlie's assassination happened, I genuinely thought, like, am I going to have to go home? Because this is the type of major event that you'd think could destabilize society. You know, people hitting the streets, and maybe if it got real bad, maybe even a civil war. I think we all thought about it. But I genuinely remember it hitting me that day, like, no, we don't have to worry. Because it's the people that you have to worry about that are celebrating right now. And the people that are pissed off are supporters of Charlie, which means they have deeply strong morals and they have a God. So when you piss off the left, they get violent in the streets, and we've seen it, and don't act like we haven't. And when you piss off the right, evidently, they hold prayer vigils. Seriously. Name one business that's had to board up their windows. Name one act of violence. There's been no looting, no maniacs in the streets. And it's not because we're not pissed off. It's because we're not the same. And this whole situation perfectly shows the true concern. And the media has convinced so many people that it's the radical right-wing extremists that you have to worry about. Okay, where are these people? What are they doing that's so dangerous? If I can be really honest, they're in some deep south small town, honestly minding their own business. Okay? These radicals on the left are out in society among us everywhere, and not even secretly celebrating the death of Charlie. Like being so open about it. These people have no honor, no integrity, no shame, no morals. And honestly, can you really be that surprised? These are the same people who have no problems casually castrating children and unaliving their babies. These are the issues they care the most about. But if you want to keep believing CNN when they tell you that it's the right-wing lunatics that are the problem, I guess that's your choice. And I guess not everyone was meant to wake up and see the truth.
Yep. So we're not all crazy in Canada. Not all of us. Just bad form there. Bad form. Yeah, so here's final stage of La Vuelta. One of the world's top cycling races was cut short after violent anti-Israel mobs stormed the finish line, attacking cyclists over the presence of an Israeli team. Are you sure they're the good guys? Are you sure they're the good guys? Lefties, are you sure? Oh, of course they are. They're violent, so they must be the good guys for the left. Must be. Is the rest of the world getting sick of this yet? All right, we already saw that. And yeah, we're done. Holy geez, we're done. 3 hours and 25 minutes in, and we are done. Let's take a look at the chat before we sign off, folks. Also, anybody watching on YouTube, second channel, it's very important you go here. Radio Baloney News, just started it like a week ago. All of the U.S. news, world news, meme reviews, all that stuff is going to go on this channel now. That channel now, sorry. This channel is this one here, Radio Baloney. It's one with 13,000 subscribers. This will just be the live streams and Canadian news from now on. Radio Baloney News. Here, this will be all of that other stuff. Here's some of the videos I put up the last couple of days. Charlie Kirk stuff and Elon Musk talking about woke mind virus and meme reviews, and Michael Schellenberger talking about the left needs to stop dehumanizing everybody who disagrees with them. Trump maybe bringing RICO charges against George Soros, all this wonderful stuff and more and much, much more. I'll be putting out probably 10, 12 videos a week on this new channel, Radio Baloney News. Go there. There's a link on, you can see the icon on the homepage of my regular Radio Baloney channel, the one you're watching right now. So thank you very much for that. All right. And I have to keep doing that until I get 1,000 subs on there. So it's just going to have to, you guys are going to have to pitch in. Let's see. JDL says Pierre should have been on Rogan. Yeah, that was just a no-lose thing for him. I mean, people were saying he should have been on all these different ones. Look, Rogan would have been good. I will say that. Nevada says, do you have the guy running from his life from the animal? No, I don't. And I will never find it, by the way. I will never be able to find it again. We could be on here for 2 hours while I look for that. Rosie says, not corn, splorn. Yes, he said splorn. It was a made up food. That was the satire part. Let's see. Let's see. Rosie says he is allowed to interview someone for 2 hours, then clip it down to 2 minutes of manipulated answers. Who's that? Who are we talking about there? Let's see. JDL says, oh no, toxic masculinity. Was that the Canadian guy? He was good. Oh, Izzy says, those toxic prayer vigils are scary to the left. Terrified of the prayer vigils. Terrified of them. Pretend to be, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the toxic masculinity was. I can't remember. We've seen too many things tonight. Let's see. Nevada says, I'm so sick of the lefties. We all are. I'm beyond tedious. Let's skip to the end here. JDL says 1984 arrived late. Yes. Radio lettuce. What the hell? Is that because we're turning it into a cooking show now? JDL makes a great point. Hit the like. Everybody hit the like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like. Get your free good karma. Everybody loves it. Become a channel member. It's a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Everybody will admire and envy you, as a matter of fact. Don't let the gatekeepers win, people. The end of the very first Radio Lettuce show. Are we going vegan? Is that what's happening? I'm not cool with that, people. Not cool with it. I'd rather be Radio Bacon. McCross says we changed the show. Richie does not. No, I'm not allowing this to happen. I'm not allowing my show to be hijacked. There's no revolution. There's no radio baloney revolution going on here. All right. Rosie says Bill Maher was told not to interview the other side. Well, he's always interviewed all sides. Bill Maher has. Going back to politically correct, he always has. JDL says JJ McCullough wanted to talk to Pierre. I don't know why he didn't do that. That'd been a very friendly interview. He's got a pretty big audience, and I like JJ McCullough. I think he's very good. And yeah, that was a no-brainer. He should have done that. That was just bad advice from his campaign manager. Let's see. McCross says we are going for healthy karma. No, it's baloney karma. Radio steak. No, McCross is saying revolution. No, I'm very extremely reactionary, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to put down this revolution immediately. All right. It's not a coup. No, McCross. No coup. I'm putting it down. I'm crushing this coup right now. Trudeau says the radio Bolshevik show. No, I'm crushing all of this right now. I'm crushing you right now. All of you, consider yourself crushed. The coup, the revolution, all of it. The Bolsheviks, all of you, crushed. Consider yourselves crushed immediately. It's over. The troops have been sent in with live ammunition. The revolution on Radio Baloney is over. All right, that's it. Well, all right. So yeah, 3 hours and 31 minutes in. I'm done on a Tuesday night. I'm tired. I would like to apologize to everybody who's watched tonight that I did not have my usual energy. It happens sometimes. What are you going to do? I mean, I had a great day. Actually, I had a really good day. I thought I was feeling good. Thought I was really going to be with it tonight. And do you know what? I just didn't have that special kind of energy that I normally have. We even tried the they them energy. That didn't work any better. Tripping over my tongue and just kind of struggling to, you guys know. But I want you to know I tried my best, and I will be better next time. I will be better for you guys. I promise it. We'll have more energy and be even more stupider than I normally am. But you guys were in pretty good form, I think. So at least you guys kind of saved it for me a little bit. I thank all of you. I thank everybody who watched, everybody, especially in the chat. If it weren't for you guys, I would be ranting out to a cold, dark, and different universe. That'd be depressing, but it's not because you guys are here. So I will keep doing it then, as long as you keep showing up. All right, everybody. Have a great week. Everybody have a great week. We will be back on Friday, 7:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time, Friday night, Radio Baloney live. I will be your host, Richie Baloney. Everybody have a great week. Thanks for showing up. We'll see you next time. And thanks for the memberships, by the way.